Here east of Seattle, just down I-90 at Mount Si High School, a beautiful high school surrounded by mountains, per the name. Um, we are about 8 minutes away, still testing audio and mics, make sure that here east of Seattle, just down I-90 at Mount Si High School, a beautiful high school surrounded by mountains, per the name. Um, we are about 8 minutes away, still testing audio and mics, make sure that it sounded pretty good.
I just don't want it to be. Yeah, the fish sticks and the honkers both coming in with losing records, but a good chance for both of these teams to kind of turn around their luck in the PIL, and I think both teams are looking for their first PIL win of the season. I just don't want it to be. Yeah, the fish sticks and the honkers both coming in with losing records.
Audio check 1, 2, 3, just to make sure. Hello, hello. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2.
We apologize if that came in a little warm to your ears. We're just testing everything out, but I think we've got it figured out and we are ready to go as the plate meeting ensues.
Okay, checking, still checking.
To your ears, we're just testing everything out, but I think we've got it figured out. We are ready to go as the plate meeting ensues.
Okay, checking, still checking. And we welcome you to Mount Si High School. Apologies for the audio checks that were going on, but I think we got everything
under control here, just about 35 minutes east of Seattle for the Northwest Honkers versus the DubSea Fish Sticks, a PIL matchup here as we are starting to kick off and getting into the kick of things here in the 2026 summer season in the Pacific International League. Kyle Sweeney and Angus Trangmo with you for tonight's matchup. The umpires and the coaches getting ready there on home plate as we will take you through the starting lineup, starting with the Fish Sticks. Rylan Gollard and Gavin George, two mainstays at the top of the order, will be playing center and left field, and then Braden Bartholomew playing first. Luke Parker will be playing third base. Normally see him at short, but there's a movement there on the left side of the infield. Daly will be DHing, been hitting really well to start his campaign for the Fish Sticks. Then it'll be Jackson Dulé in right field, kind of signifying that there might be a stable outfield coming for the Fish Sticks. Then Peyton Barsotti will be behind the plate. Tyler Eisenhut will be at second. Noah Kung will be playing the shortstop position, and Kenji Bray will be getting the start for the Fish Sticks. And for the Honkers, Josh Parks will be playing in center and leading off. Abiel Gonzalez, will be playing second base. Logan Pontecorvo will be DHing. Jordan Singleton behind the plate. Alex Chamberlain will be playing right field. Dominic Hecker will be at the hot corner batting 6-hole. Cameron Padron will be at first base. Kazushi Miwa will be in left field. Luke Altum will be at shortstop. And Dylan Veely will be getting the start for the Honkers, who come in at 1-5 on the season. The DubSea Fish Sticks at 2-3, both looking to get their first PIL win of the season. Angus?
Yeah, both teams not off to a great start in league play, but I think we've got a good one on our hands just because both of these teams are starting to feel a bit of that pressure, especially both sitting under 500 and the Honkers at 1-5, really feeling like they need to win at some point. Kenji Bray, like you said, on the bump for the Fish Sticks today, sophomore out of the Colorado School of Mines down in Golden, Colorado.
Beautiful place.
Yeah, beautiful place indeed. He threw 3 innings of 5-hit, 1-run baseball against the Blackfins last Tuesday, and he will get the second away start of the season for the Fish Sticks.
And Angus, as we await first pitch, as the Honkers take the field here in the top of the first and start warming up, what are some keys to the game that you have for the Fish Sticks to get their first PIL win of the season?
So the first one that I have, and I think this is the biggest one by far, is stay the course. We saw it on Friday against the Utah Yaks. They kind of changed their hitting approach. They were not trying to lift the ball up and over the fence. It was just hits upon hits upon hits upon hits, and it was constant offensive pressure, especially in that 6th inning. So they really do need to stay the course. The second key to the game today, and this hasn't really been something they've done very well this season, but be efficient on the mound. We've seen a lot of pitchers get used in the past couple games by the Fish Sticks, and it's turned into some tired arms in this rotation. So keep your pitchers on the mound and make sure they are efficient this entire game. And then I said this against the Yaks, and I'm going to say it again. Late game execution is going to be huge. Obviously, they blew out the Yaks. They didn't really need to worry about that on Friday, but if this game does get close, late game execution is going to be huge, and it's something we haven't seen much of from the Fish Sticks so far this season.
Yeah, and on the mound for the Honkers is Dylan Veely, coming from Tacoma Community College, where Vaughn Lowe plays for the Fish Sticks, so a couple of teammates on opposing sides of the diamond. Veely had 12 appearances, 8 started games last season, was 3-2 with a 3.54 ERA, also had 2 saves coming out of the bullpen. So he's been a reliable arm in college and a guy that this team has turned to more often than not. Had 40 strikeouts in 56 innings pitched last year. He is a right-handed pitcher. So Gollard, George, and Bartholomew will be due up for the Fish Sticks.
As our scoreboard operator has arrived in here, we are getting set to go, and Coach Kirby talking with the home plate ump. Kyle, I think this is a big opportunity for both of these teams. You know, you've got a team like the Fish Sticks that, yes, they've shown glimpses of being a really solid team, but also they don't have a PIL win. It seems like they should, and they don't. So this is a big spot for the Fish Sticks against a Honkers team that I don't think we really have expected much from this season. I think this is going to be huge for them.
As Rylan Gollard steps to the plate, and we are ready to kick things off here on a Monday afternoon matchup at Mount Si High School as Veely fires in a strike. So Veely, a quick operating right-hander again from Tacoma Community College. That's an off speed that Gollard swings and misses for strike 2.
Couple great pitches from Dylan Veely to get things going here.
Gollard, one of the hottest hitters on the team, 2 for 3, a couple of doubles on Friday in that mashing of the Yaks. As this one's taken towards the second baseman, Abiel Gonzalez, and that'll be an easy out for out number 1.
Yeah, Veely really handled Gollard with ease almost there. 3 pitches and an easy out. Gollard not able to do anything with that 0-2 pitch. And this is what Veely's going to have to do, especially against the top of this order.
That'll bring up Gavin George hitting 2-hole and in left field tonight. A sophomore from the University of Puget Sound almost gets hit, and it does hit him. It caught a piece of the jersey, so hit by a pitch on the first pitch of the at-bat, and George will be at first.
Yeah, after Veely throws 3 great pitches to start the game, just kind of lets that one get out of the hand early, and George is on first base.
That'll bring up Braden Bartholomew, played in every inning so far this summer for the Fish Sticks. Sporting the number 44 jersey today, has 3 different jersey numbers. Number 44 is what he's in today. And that fastball is on the corner for strike 1. Bartholomew, 2 for 5, had a triple and 2 RBIs last Tuesday versus the Blackfins. Is hitting just .222 on the season, but has found creative ways to get RBIs.
Yeah, one of the best situational hitters I think I've ever seen. And he is one of the leaders on this team in runs batted in as Gavin George is gunned down at second. What a throw from behind the plate.
Yeah, it looked like George had a great jump there, but Jordan Singleton behind the dish threw him out. So 2 quick outs now for the Honkers. And George is caught stealing against something that Coach Kribbe has wanted to improve this season. That is their 5th time being caught on the base paths this season. That one's hit well towards center field. Parks is going back, and he's not going to get there, and it bounces over the center field wall. So a ground rule double for Braden Bartholomew. That one was hit deep, bounced right over the 380 marker there in deep left center field. And the Fish Sticks will have a runner in scoring position with 2 outs.
Yeah, Bartholomew, by the way the center fielder was running after that ball, I thought Bartholomew might have just gotten out of here, but a great piece of hitting. You almost wish George would have just stayed at first. He likely, I guess he doesn't likely score because the ball pops over, but he would have been a third. But runners on third and second and 1 out with Luke Parker up is a way better situation.
So that will bring up Luke Parker from the Colorado School of Mines as well. Takes a look at strike 1 on the inside corner. All turf field here at Mount Si High School. As I mentioned, 380 to the deep parts of left and right center field, and 371 deep center, and then 320 down the line on both corners. As Parker takes a rip right to the shortstop, Luke Altum, who has the 3rd out of the 1st inning. So a pretty clean start for Veely and the Northwest Honkers. It'll be the Honkers that come up for the first time in the bottom of the 1st. And back here in the bottom of the 1st at Mount Si High School as Kenji Bray steps to the mound for the Fish Sticks. His 2nd appearance of the season, his 2nd start of the season. He will get the ball here tonight.
Yeah, Bray, 3 innings of 1-run ball against the Blackfins last week, and Didn't have his best stuff at Colorado School of Mines this season, but he did lead the Mines pitchers in appearances on the season at 21. So obviously a guy that the Ordigers coaching staff trusts down there, and he's getting his second start of the season for DubSea tonight.
So it'll be Josh Parks, Abiel Gonzalez, and Logan Pontecorvo who will be leading things off here in the bottom of the first. As Parks, the righty, steps to the plate and takes a look at ball one outside.
It's a nice location from Bray, though, and looked like good velocity on his fastball. Obviously, the first pitch he throws is probably going to look pretty nice, but
Parks graduated from Tahoma High School, was 2 for 4 with an RBI and a walk on Thursday for the Honkers, as that's right on the corner for strike one.
Yeah, if Bray can just live there, that's a spot where a Honkers hitter is not going to be able to do much with that fastball.
The Honkers lost 10-7 on Saturday to the Blackfins. Parks came in and hit a huge 2-run pinch hitting single to cut into that lead late, but it was too little too late, as that's on the corner for strike two.
Yeah, 1-2 count, and still yet to see a swing from Parks. Bray just kind of sticking with what's working with the fastball.
So 1-2 count to Josh Parks, the leadoff hitter, and playing center field tonight for the Honkers. He's been hot as of late. That off speed is outside for ball two, 2-2 count.
Maybe Parks has it timed up at this point, but I don't see why you would go for anything else right now. Just stick with that fastball if you're Bray and Barsotti.
Bray looking for the signal. And he fires the 2-2, swung on right to Noah Kung at short. Long throw across the diamond is in time for out number one.
Yeah, it goes back to that fastball, and Parks had it timed up pretty well, just got on top of it. Easy play for Kung over at the 6th spot.
That'll bring up Abiel Gonzalez, who's playing second base and hitting 2-hole for the Honkers. 1 for 3, a couple RBIs, 2 runs for them on Saturday. The lefty steps into the box against Bray. As Bray unleashes fastball just off the corner for ball one.
Eerily similar to the pitch he started off Parks with, a fastball that just misses outside. Maybe looking at a similar approach on Gonzalez.
Here's the 1-0, swung on and chopped foul towards the right side of the infield. Again, all turf here at Mount Si, a little bit different from the turf infield and grass outfield that the Fish Sticks play at Mel Olson Stadium. But a beautiful day out here, about 75 degrees at game time. No wind, partly cloudy. And a great environment here with great views. So that's up high for ball two, 2-1 count.
Bray is sticking with number one so far today. It's worked for him so far. It's just a matter of, is he going to be able to maintain that control for 3 innings? We'd expect him to go 3 innings. That's been the usual roof for starting pitchers for the Fish Sticks this season.
Yeah, 2-1 up, so 3-1 count. Bray is behind to Abiel Gonzalez. Gonzalez, a grad of Tahoma back in 2020. Beckett Turnbow for the Fish Sticks, also from Tahoma High School. As here's the 3-1 from Bray, and just misses the inside corner for ball 4, so Gonzalez is aboard.
That's not a horrible spot from Kenji Bray there. Just misses inside, probably the right call, but had to make the home plate umpire think about it a little bit.
So I'll bring up Logan Pontecorvo, who played at Oregon Tech, also saw previous stints at San Diego State and Seattle U. A hit apiece on both Thursday and Saturday. He will be DHing and hitting 3-hole for the Honkers tonight. Gonzalez walked and is at first base. As Bray delivers a nice looking off speed in there for strike one.
That's a great pitch from Kenji Bray. Obviously started the first 2 guys off with fastball, so just takes his foot off the gas pedal, and Pontecorvo almost frozen by that first pitch off-speed ball.
Gonzalez not taking too far of a lead at first. 0-1 count to Pontecorvo. Swings at a high fastball for strike 2.
Loving the sequencing from Kenji Bray right now.
Off speed that Pontecorvo looked at for strike 1. Just swung at a pitch out of the zone for strike 2. As Bray ahead 0-2 and delivers another high fastball that's fouled off. Gonzalez, another short lead at first base. Just picked up the walk, the first of the night for Kenji Bray and a Fish Sticks team that struggles as a staff with walks. Here's the 1-2 swung on and missed, and that'll be strike 3, the first of the strikeout for Kenji Bray. A good looking off speed.
Yeah, first pitch where Bray tries to get the hitter to chase, and it works to perfection. Pontecorvo goes way after it. It bounces in the turf before it gets to Barsati's mitt. First strikeout of the day for Bray. He struck out 3 in his first outing, so not exactly looking for Ks when he's out there. But when they come along, they are helpful.
I'll bring up Jordan Singleton hitting cleanup. Struggling a bit as of late, 0 for his last 8 from the plate. As the lefty looks at that off speed in the turf for ball 1. Singleton pretty physically imposing, listed at 6'1", 235. Big power guy in the cleanup spot for the Honkers. Again, looking to try to find his groove at the plate. 1-0 and 2 outs to Jordan Singleton. Abiel Gonzalez still at first, and there's another pitch in the turf for ball 2.
Looks like Bray is trying not to give Singleton anything he can really work with. Both of those pitches missing way down low.
So behind 2-0, only base runner for the Honkers on via walk. As Bray fires the 2-0 again in the turf. Barsati mishandled it for a second. No action at first, and now 3-0.
Clearly the Fish Sticks battery just trying to avoid giving Singleton anything high, but at 3-0 you got to start thinking about maybe putting one in the zone here, because a walk puts a runner in scoring position in the first inning.
Parks grounded out to short to lead things off. Pontecorvo struck out last at bat. The 2 outs, but a 3-0 count here to Singleton. As Bray fires, and that's inside for ball 4. So 2 runners now aboard with 2 outs, and that'll bring up Alex Chamberlain.
Yeah, 4 pitches, 4 balls, and 4 pitches that all missed low. So clearly the top rail is the last thing the Fish Sticks wanted to give Jordan Singleton, and I guess they'll take the walk over giving him anything up high.
I'll bring up Chamberlain, a Mount Si grad in 2023, playing back on his home turf. First pitch swung on and hit hard, and that'll reach the gap in the outfield. Gavin George has got it, but that'll score the first run of the game. So a nice RBI single on the first pitch for Alex Chamberlain, and the Honkers are on the board.
Yeah, first pitch, he just rips that ball, hit it pretty hard. If it had just a little more juice, you could have seen it roll all the way to the wall in that gap, but Gavin George covers it well. A run nonetheless, and the Honkers on the board early.
So Abiel Gonzalez scores after that walk earlier in the first. And still 2 on and 2 outs for Dominic Hecker. Bray sends an off-speed on the corner for strike 1. Hecker from Olympic College, a 239 average last year. Hitting in the 6th hole today for the Honkers. Runner on second and first. Bray fires. This is hit hard and well towards center field. Gollard's got it, and that'll be out number 3. But not before the Honkers are able to tack on a run, and they lead early, 1-0 going into the 2nd inning. And back here for the top of the second, 5-6-7 due up for the Fish Sticks, who just went down 1-0 after an RBI single from the Honkers. And it was Alex Chamberlain who got the scoring started, 5-hole hitter for the Northwest Honkers. Again, both teams looking for their first PIL win of the season, as Jake Daly will step to the plate to lead things off. Daly DHing for the Fish Sticks today. Dylan Veely, a clean first inning for the Honkers. Looks like there's an interruption in the Honkers dugout. Home plate umpire checking on that real quick. And Daly steps back into the plate. Again, Daly joined the team a little late, couple games in, but is 2 for 5 on the year. Was hit by a pitch that scored a run on Friday, and he takes a look at ball 1 in the turf.
Daly really has been good at the plate. Good approach pretty consistently, and has put a charge into some balls, part of that hit parade in the 6th inning on Friday against the Yaks.
Again, this team entered that game against the Yaks on Friday with a sub-190 batting average and proceeded to put 9 runs in the bottom of the 6th against the Yaks, eventually pulling away for a 14-4 victory. Daly hits that pitch foul. Daly, a redshirt sophomore, does catch. We've seen him behind the plate a couple of times this summer, but is DHing from St. Peter's. And yes, that St. Peter's that had that magical Cinderella run to the Elite Eight a couple years ago. That off speed a little high. Now a 3-1 count to Daly.
Peacocks.
The Peacocks.
Some of the best basketball I've ever watched in my life.
That was electric. As Veely fires in there, hard hit, but just foul for Daly, and the count fills up.
Yeah, you could see Daly's eyes get big when that pitch came across the heart of the plate, and he just got a little too excited, ripped it foul.
First 3-2 count of the night for the Fish Sticks. Veely shakes off a couple pitches, fires in there. This was popped up. Should be an easy play at second base for Abiel Gonzalez, and he makes the out.
Such a good at-bat for Daly, and then what could have been ball 4 was a borderline pitch on the top rail of the strike zone. He goes after and just gets way under it.
I'll bring up Jackson Dulé hitting in the 6th spot today, playing in right field from Bellevue College. Off speed misses high for ball 1. Dulé was 0 for 6 going into last weekend's games, and then 2 extra base hits kind of started things for him. Had a triple on Thursday against the Blackfins, as this one's grounded towards Gonzalez once again, who's been busy at second base. Dulé nearly beat it out, but that'll be out number 2.
Credit to Dulé for running that out. He made that play a lot tougher than it should have been, but Fish Sticks not really getting great contact off Vele right now. Outside of Bartholomew's double that was crushed and turned into a ground rule double, haven't really seen anyone put a charge into a ball yet.
Only base runner was Bartholomew, who had a double with 2 outs in the first, as Peyton Barsotti steps to the plate and fouls one off. Barsotti did not play last year at St. Mary's. Is behind the plate tonight. Hitless in 10 plate appearances so far this year with 2 walks. As the 0-1 fouled off again, quickly behind 0-2.
Credit to Vele so far. He's really not given the Fish Sticks anything they can do too much damage with, and he's worked efficiently as well. Something that I said in the open that the Fish Sticks should really focus on is staying efficient on the mound, and Vele's done a good job of that for the Honkers.
And that off-speed got away from him and hit Barsotti in the back, so Barsotti is aboard after falling behind 0-2. And that'll bring up Tyler Eisenhut.
I should just not say anything, ever. He goes ahead 0-2 and then hits Barsotti after I say he's been an efficient pitcher today. But the second hit batsman by Velez on an otherwise pretty good day on the mound so far. Just an interesting coincidence, I think.
As Eisenhut steps to the plate with 2 outs, and Barsotti at first. And there's strike 1 from Vele. Again, getting ahead early in counts often so far through the first couple innings against the Fish Sticks order. Eisenhut 1 for 6 this year with the walk. Barsati stays put at first, and Eisenhut, good eye, just missed, up and in for ball one.
You could tell Eisenhut didn't really like the strike call on the first pitch, and he looked straight back at the home plate umpire after that pitch was zinged in because it was a borderline strike as well. He just made sure he didn't fall behind 0-2.
Eisenhut choking up a little bit on the bat, shows bunt with 2 outs to the third baseman. It's going to be a tough throw, and Eisenhut beats it out. Barsati stays at second base. A little bit surprising to even us in the booth. And Eisenhut is aboard.
Well, it was an interesting decision over at third by Hecker to touch that ball. He was definitely tailing into foul territory, especially on the turf. That was going to roll foul. He could have just picked it up, and Eisenhut would have had to do it all over again. But he fields it in fair territory in the throw. Definitely not in time. Now Noah Kung up in a pretty big spot to try and even the score once again.
Yeah, the bunt was lifted and tailing. As Kung checks swing, but he went for strike one. Kung struggling a little bit from the plate to start the year, just 1 for 7, but has forced 3 walks. So Eisenhut on first, Barsati on second, 2 gone, and the Honkers up 1-0 here in the top of the second. Off speed, taken up the middle. It's going to be a tough play. Can Alta make it? Went to second base and not in time. Eisenhut slid in time, so now the bases are loaded and going back to the top of the order with Rylan Gollard.
Yeah, I think that was just an error. Altum had to come across the middle. It would have been a tough play regardless, but the exchange from his glove to the hand, not clean by any means, and now the bases are loaded for one of the dangerous hitters in this lineup.
Gollard grounded out to second just last inning. Now up with the bases loaded and 2 outs. He looks at strike one. Not many hitters that Coach Kribbe would want in this position. Gollard, one of the hottest hitters on the team, that was the stick of the day on Friday with those 2 doubles and 3 RBIs. As that's high for ball one.
This is a big spot for Vele, who has done a good job of keeping the pitch count low. And to be honest, not a lot of these have been on him. It's just been a nicely placed bunt and an error out in the field.
Gollard hitting .353 this season. That's popped foul.
That was the pitch to do it with, too. Fastball in the lower half, but right down the heart of the plate, and we've seen Gollard crush that ball already this season.
Gollard 2 doubles and a triple this season. Hit .329 at Linfield last season. Up here with the bases loaded, and that's on the inside corner for strike 3. Gollard didn't like it, but Vele comes out unscathed with trouble in the top of the second, and the Honkers still with the 1-0 lead. Back at the bottom of the second here at Mount Si High School, the home team Honkers with a 1-0 lead after an RBI single in the bottom of the first. Rylan Gollard just struck out looking with the bases juiced and 2 outs. Dylan Vele, a nice pitch that just caught the inside corner to preserve this lead for the Honkers, who have 7, 8, 9 due up in the bottom of the second. It'll be Cameron Padron leading things off. A tall lefty. 1 for 2 with an RBI on Thursday in pinch hit appearances. First pitch from Bray this inning, just low and outside for ball 1.
Yeah, Bray did a good job locating his pitches in that first inning, but just a few mistakes that turned into a run for the Honkers, especially that pitch to Chamberlain that was just roped into left center.
Here's the 1-0 right down the middle. Padron will want that back. We fouled it back. Now a 1-1 count. Padron was 1 for 4 on Saturday after that 1 for 2 with an RBI performance on Thursday. Sporting some bright green cleats. Very easy to spot out there on the turf field. As that catches the corner for strike 2.
Yep, down and out is really where Kenji Bray has had his success so far today, and he finds it once again with the fastball.
It was Alex Chamberlain with the RBI single in the bottom of the first. Bray looking for his second strikeout of the game. And that curveball had a lot of run, but just high. Now a 2-2 count.
Man, that was close. I thought that was strike 3. Bray kind of just loops it in, but misses just up for ball 2.
2-2 count to Padron. First batter here in the bottom of the second. Off speed down low, now a 3-2 count. Bray takes a step off the mound to collect his thoughts. Padron has battled back in this at-bat from 1-2 to 3-2, and here's the payoff from Bray, and it's fouled off.
This is the first instance I think we've seen of Bray going deep into a count, and obviously he's the starter, so there's kind of a roof on his innings, but still, you're already playing from behind. You want to keep that pitch count low.
Bray went fastball on the last payoff. Here's the next payoff. Went fastball again, weakly fouled towards the left field line. So 2 straight fouls from Padron.
Really good battle by Padron right there, too. He noticed that pitch was going to be a strike, kind of just stuck a bat out way late and was able to foul it off.
Third straight payoff coming for Kenji Bray, who shakes off a couple of pitches. Now lines it up. Fires in and low. So another walk for Bray. And the leadoff man is aboard.
Yeah, that was a great AB from Padron. Fights off 2 strikes at 3-2, and then Bray's fastball is kind of just spiked into the turf for ball 4.
So leadoff man is aboard. Second walk of the game for Kenji Bray, and that'll bring up Kazushi Miwa, hitting 8-hole. Miwa playing in left field tonight. Bray fires in, and Miwa was off guard there on the fastball for strike 1. Miwa was 1 for 3 on Thursday. Again, Padron came in and pitch hit for him. Padron at first after the walk. Miwa shows bunt, but that's high for ball 2.
You can
or
see
ball 1, excuse me.
You could see a bit of hesitation from Kenji Bray when Miwa showed bunt, and I think that just threw the curveball way out of whack.
So Parker at third now playing in. Bartholomew holding Padron at first. Here's the 1-1. Again showing bunt. This one's going to go right back to Bray. He's going to check 2, but then fire at 1 to get the out at first. So Padron will get to second base now with 1 out.
And you got to think that bunt was not amazingly placed, but it was still pretty effective from Miwa, but Bray covered that really well. And if Kung's over at second, you might have a close play on the lead runner, but Kung did not cover the bag, and the Fish Sticks get the easy out at first.
This will bring up the 9-hole hitter, Luke Altum, playing shortstop tonight. Runner in scoring position with 1 out. The Honkers with a 1-0 lead. Here in the bottom of the second. Bray fires in. It's fouled straight back for strike 1. Altum's had a couple of tough plays hit out to him over at short. Didn't play on Saturday, but was 2 for 6 with a double on Thursday against the Dudes, the Redmond Dudes.
Yeah, one of our favorite names.
Great PIL name.
I think in the PIL. It's no Fish Sticks.
It is no Fish Sticks, but the Dudes are up there.
Pretty good. We'll give them that.
Here's the 1-2. That's a high hanging curveball, just high for ball 2. That's got a lot of run, that 12-6 curveball that Bray has.
Yeah, it really does. It backs off the hitter Altum from the plate and then almost finds its way back inside the batter's boxes.
Altum, 268 at Eastern Oklahoma State College last season, had a homer and 19 RBIs. Bray fires in another off speed that's in there for strike 2. So 1-2 count now. And Padron at second base. Back to the top of the order with Josh Parks, who's sitting on deck. And here's the 1-2, swung on and missed for strike 3. And Bray just blew the fastball right by Altum for out number 2.
Yeah, and that's a big out for Kenji Bray. You don't want the lineup card to turn over with a couple runners on, and now a ground ball anywhere gets the Fish Sticks out of the inning, so that's a big out, and he went to that fastball that he's been locating pretty well today.
That'll bring up Parks at the top of the order, grounded out to Noah Kuhn at short his first time up. So Padron walked and then advanced on the sac bunt from Miwa. He's at second base with 2 gone. First pitch is popped up. Bartholomew might have room over there in foul territory, running for it. Doesn't get there. A little bit of a lucky break for Parks, who stays in the at-bat.
A bit of a lucky break, but that is such a tough play to make. If you're Bartholomew or Dule or anyone out there, that ball lands about 6 inches away from the chain link fence in foul territory. You're kind of putting your season on the line if you're trying to catch that ball.
So 0-1 count now to Josh Parks. Ray takes a look at Padron at second. Kuhn trying to cover him, fires in, off speed, hit the plate for ball 1.
You can tell Parks almost offered at it, though, so that's a good pitch from Bray. Just better discipline from the leadoff hitter for this Honkers squad.
No one checking Padron at second this time. Bray taking a long look at Padron at second base and delivers. Curveball is high for ball 2.
When Bray has missed that curveball today, it has been up high in most cases. He's just having trouble bringing it down, but it's got so much left to right run that when he does locate it, it's a really tough pitch to read.
So 2-1 count. Honkers looking to extend their 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the second. Padron still at second. That ball is high. Now a 3-1 count.
I think Bray might have been trying to do too much there behind in the count. Just trying to even it with a fastball. Probably the fastest pitch he's thrown all day. Just a little early out of the hand and it misses high.
3-1 count. Padron still at second, taking a massive lead. Neither Kuhn or Eisenhut looking to really hold him at second. Here's the 3-1. Another curveball, and it misses the top of the zone. So Parks will trot to first base. Now runners on first and second with 2 gone here in the bottom of the second.
And while Bray has missed up on that curveball a few times, he's also not getting the call when it's a close pitch. That's probably the third instance where Bray has almost painted that top rail and he just hasn't gotten the call. So that curveball is going to have to drop into the zone definitively if he wants it for a strike today, it seems.
I'll bring up Abiel Gonzalez, who walked and scored the game's only run in the first. That's low in the zone for strike 1 from Bray.
Yeah, expanding on what I just said, it looks like lower in the zone you're going to get more calls today than up high, so might be a note for the rest of this game.
Bray taking another long look at Padron at second, who walked and reached there on a sac bunt. As Abiel Gonzalez, a huge rip, and fouls it straight back and off the glove of Barsati, so behind 0-2.
Yeah, Gonzalez was sitting on the fastball and he got it, and that's one of the bigger swings you'll ever see from a PIL player. He was trying to put that up and over the mountains out in Ellensburg, I think.
Again, a beautiful view, Mount Si Field. The views do not disappoint. And here's the 0-2, 2 gone and 2 on here in the bottom of the second. Bray checks back, delivers, off speed, swung on and missed for strike 3. So Kenji Bray gets out of a little bit of dust here in the bottom of the second. To the third we go. The Honkers still with the 1-0 lead. Here for the top of the third, the Honkers leading the Fish Sticks 1-0 in a pretty important PIL matchup. Both teams looking for their first PIL win of the season. Gavin George, Braden Bartholomew, Luke Parker due up for the Fish Sticks, so 2-3-4 and a good part of this lineup, Angus.
Yeah, but facing a good pitcher so far today. Vele, outside of a couple hit batsmen, has really given his defense a lot of chances to get outs, and in most cases they have done it, but they've gotten into a couple jams, but he's just gotten right out of them, and he's stayed efficient during those innings as well, despite the traffic. So Vele off to a good start today.
Vele saw a bases loaded jam last inning, brought up Rylan Gollard, one of the hottest hitters on the team, and struck him out on a nice pitch that hit the inside corner. So Gavin George will step to the plate and look at a fastball high. George was one of the two batters hit by a pitch back in the first. Was then caught stealing as this one's fouled and out of play. Again, the Fish Sticks still trying to find success on the base paths. They have plenty of speedy players, but so far have not been able to execute this year. That was the 5th time they've been picked off on the bases. And here's the 1-1 from Vele, and that almost hit George again. And inside for ball 2.
You could tell George was kind of trying to lean into it and maybe manufacture a base runner to get this inning started.
George hitting .333 coming into this game. And it's a big rip at a ball high in the zone for strike 2. It's 2 for 4 with an RBI on Thursday against the Blackfins, and a 3-2 heartbreaker for the Fish Sticks. And George fouls that off-speed off.
The catcher Singleton was set up way outside, and Vele kind of left that in his zone, a pitch that we've seen Gavin George do some damage with this season, so maybe one that George wants back.
And here's the 2-2 from Vele. That's down in the zone, so the count is juiced. It's already the 4th full count of the night for both of these teams. George was 1 for 3 with a run on Friday. Scored the run in the bottom of the 6th. That was a 9 spot. That fastball chopped towards third. Going to be a tough play across the diamond. It's an errant throw, and George is going to be headed for second. That was Hecker with the errant throw. No chance at first for Padron. And George is on second base with nobody out.
I think we both got a little worried when George broke for second there. I think we both thought he might have been gunned down, trying to get a little greedy on the base pass, but a great read by Gavin George after the errant throw from Hecker over at third, and he's in safely, so a hit and an error, and the Fish Sticks are in business early.
That'll bring up Braden Bartholomew, second on the team with 5 RBIs this season. Bartholomew had a deep ground rule double back in the first, bounced over the 380 sign in left center field, and takes another one towards that way, but too much air under it, and that'll be an easy play for Parks as Gavin George will take off for third. Sliding in, plays close, but he will get in safely. Boy, that throw from Parks made it closer than it looked like it would be originally.
Yeah, George caught Parks off guard in center field. I don't think Parks was expecting George to go. And if Parks was ready to go with that throw the moment the ball hit his mitt, I think George is out right now.
George had a lot of speed. And a great throw from Parks. Again, made that a closer play than it should have been. So George is on third with Luke Parker up to the plate and 1 out. Vele delivers. Parker takes the first pitch he sees. This one's driven pretty deep to left, but it'll be caught. But it'll be an easy run for Gavin George, who just jogs home. And the Fish Sticks tie at 1 apiece. So great base running from Gavin George there.
Yeah, George really just manufactures it with his legs, and he obviously had the hit to get himself on base, but takes the bag off the errant throw on second, then tags up on a close play over to third, and then Parker does more than enough to bring in the run.
That'll bring up Jake Daly hitting 5 holes. He fouls it off. First pitch actually might be a play there for Padron. The ball spinning back into play, and Padron will make the out. So a quick inning, but the Fish Sticks will get a run back and tie this thing at 3 apiece in the top of the third. And we'll be right back here from Mount Si. Bottom of the third and already the first pitching change of the game for the Fish Sticks. Kenji Bray's night is over, and Finn Still, another right-hander, stepping to the mound.
Yeah, so the Fish Sticks tie it up 1 run apiece going into the bottom of the third, and Coach Crippy to the bullpen earlier than usual today. Finn Still out of Southeastern University down in Florida, the Fire. 3.2 innings on the season, and he's only allowed 2 hits and hasn't given up a run all season. He struck out 3. And Still's whole deal is that fastball is a force to be reckoned with, and we still haven't seen a team really do anything with it. So I'm interested to see if the Honkers maybe know that, are expecting that, maybe sitting dead red from the Southeastern Fire, the fireballer, if you will, Finn Still.
Still 2 appearances, both against the Seattle Blackfins last week. So his 3rd appearance of the season. The earliest pitching change we've had so far from a starter here in the 6th game of the summer for the Fish Sticks. But it was Luke Parker who tied it up in the top of the 3rd. It was a quick inning, but Parker got a sac fly that was deep to left field that scored Gavin George, who reached on an air to begin the inning. So we are all tied up here at Mount Si High School. Kyle Sweetie and Angus Trangmo here in a beautiful night. It's been a beautiful week all week here in Seattle. And Still is ready to go. It'll be 3-4-5 due up for the Honkers, and Logan Pontecorvo will lead things off.
Yeah, Bray, although he came out after 2 innings, I don't think he pitched that bad today. Obviously gave up the 1 hit, pretty hard hit ball to Chamberlain that turned into the Honkers run. But outside of that, I feel like he worked batters pretty well in his 2 innings of work.
Tied at 1 apiece as Still fires in that fastball. That's got some heat behind it for strike 1.
Yeah, it's definitely a different kind of velo than what Kenji Bray had in the first 2 innings. Interested to see how the Honkers respond.
Pontecorvo struck out swinging on 3 straight pitches back in the first against Bray. As Still delivers another fastball. Pontecorvo behind it, but fouls it back for strike 2. So down in the count early.
Finn Still's complimentary pitch to that fastball is a nice left-to-right slider that he uses really effectively. Obviously, the fastball is his primary pitch, but he knows when to throw that slider better than really a lot of people in this Fish Sticks bullpen.
Ahead 0-2 to Logan Pontecorvo. Finn Still delivers and swing and a miss for strike 3. So quick work of Pontecorvo. 3 pitches, 3 strikes. And an early strikeout for Still.
And 3 pitches, 3 fastballs. And Pontecorvo was behind every single one of them. So Finn Still knows exactly where he needs to live against that hitter. And now that's 2 3-pitch strikeouts for the 3-hole hitter for the Honkers today.
And that'll bring up Jordan Singleton, the big lefty, hitting cleanup. Still a long delivery. Delivers in. Oh, and that's way outside. Marsotti couldn't even handle it. At 6'3", 245. Luckily, he was on the other side of the batter's box. That's a loud ball 1.
Yeah, the fastball gives and the fastball takes. You know, that'll happen. We see that from Beckett Turnbow quite a bit. And Finn Still, that one just got away from him. No other explanation.
Singleton worked a walk back in the first. Still looking for his first hit in 9 plate appearances. Or his last 9 plate appearances. That's up and out for ball 2. Still behind 2-0 after a 3-pitch strikeout of Pontecorvo last at bat, as that one's fired in there for strike 1.
Pretty generous call there. It was down and in. It was located pretty well by Finn Still, but you can see Singleton kind of shaking his head and smiling. I think a bit of a zone extension on 2-0 there.
Still yet not to thrown a fastball. There's another fastball just a bit outside for ball 3. So leading on that fastball early through the first 7 pitches here in his 3rd relief appearance of the season. 1-1 ball game here in the bottom of the 3rd. And here's the 3-1, swung on and hit towards the shortstop Noah Kung, who's got the easy play across the diamond, and a quick 2 outs for Still.
Yeah, and Finn Still just working with the fastball over and over and over again. We said it before he threw even 1 pitch, is that fastball was going to be the primary option, and he hasn't even turned to that slider yet today.
And that'll bring up Alex Chamberlain, who drove in the first run of the game with a hard hit single back in the first. That would score Abiel Gonzalez, who walked to start things off. 3 for 4 with an RBI on Saturday, so continuing to stay hot is Chamberlain, who takes a look at strike one on the corner. Big right-hander from Seattle U. Again, Mount Si grad back in 2023, so back on his home turf. And here's the 0-1. That's our first off-speed of the game for Finn Still that just made its way back into the zone and fouled back for strike two.
It's pretty impressive that Chamberlain got his bat on that. You could tell that the slider kind of fooled him, and he was way ahead of it, but kind of just left his bat where the ball was just forced to travel through, and he gets a bat on it, but strike two nonetheless.
So an 0-2 count. Still looking to go 1-2-3 in the bottom of the third. This one's hit hard towards Luke Parker at the hot corner. Long throw just in time. So 1-2-3 inning for Finn Still. And he makes quick work of the middle of the order for the Honkers. Still 1-1 game going into the top of the fourth. Back for the top of the fourth here at Mount Si High School. 1-1 ball game between the Honkers and the Fish Sticks. Kyle Sweeney and Angus Trangmo with you as Dylan Vele back out for another inning of work. And he's been pretty efficient so far, Angus.
Yeah, I would say so. The run that he gave up wasn't necessarily mistakes by Vele on the mound. It was more just Gavin George owning the base paths and turning an errant throw into basically a run that didn't come from any hits that Vele allowed. So he's been really good on the bump, and the Fish Sticks are really yet to figure him out and find the timing today.
So Dule, Barsati, Eisenhut, 6, 7, 8 due up in the top of the fourth for the Fish Sticks as Dule steps to the plate. Playing in right field, grounded out to second base his last time up. As Vele fires in, first pitch swinging and grounded up the middle for a base hit. So Dule quickly on the board, his third hit of the season and third hit in the last 3 games for the speedy right fielder.
Yeah, 3-game hitting streak for Dule, and he had a triple against the Blackfins in the 8th, and he ended up scoring on that trip around the bases. And you can tell that ever since that triple, he has been a lot just looser in the batter's box, and it's turned into a lot better plate appearances and a few more hits as well.
As Peyton Barsati steps into the plate, the big catcher from St. Mary's. And he's swinging first pitch, but fouls it back. 0-1 count. Barsati was behind 0-2 to Vele back in the second before he was plunked in the back by a curveball and took the free base. That was where the Fish Sticks eventually loaded the bases, but Vele struck out Rylan Gollard to end the inning. As Vele checks back at Dule. Again, Dule, a lot of speed, sub 760 speed for Dule. Coach Kribbe, first day of practice, took a look at him running the base paths and said he is gliding.
He does really glide around the bases. That's a great comp, and even with a pretty small lead over at first, he's always a threat to go.
And Dule's taking off. Hit and run scenario. Barsati crushes this to deep left center field, and it's gone. Peyton Barsati First hit of the season is a home run, and that was a no-doubter here at Mount Si. A 2-run shot as the Fish Sticks take the 3-1 lead.
Yeah, he crushed that ball. Usually in a hit-and-run situation, you don't want to put it in the air. But when you could just put it over the left field fence, that's not a bad option either. And like you said, his first hit of the season, we said it in practices. He had all kinds of pop and BP, and we were expecting some bombs from him. And what do you know, the first hit of the season leaves the yard, 3-1 DubSea.
So 3 homers on the season, the first by Barsotti. Gavin George and Evan Hellner each with a home run apiece this season, and now a 3-run lead, 3-1 lead here in the top of the 4th. As Vele sends that to the backstop to Tyler Eisenhut on the first pitch, so 1-0 count.
So now we've seen Vele stumble a little bit, a single followed by a home run from Barsotti, and that first pitch, not a lot of composure shown. That was a fastball that missed way out.
Eisenhut, sack bunt as he takes a look at strike 1. Sack bunt, well, a bunt that actually he reached. It was a sack bunt, but a play by Dominic Hecker at third base allowed him to reach first base. And that's a generous call on the outside corner for strike 2. Or for strike 1. Now 1-1 count to Tyler Eisenhut.
I believe it is 1-2.
It is 1-2,
yeah,
correction.
There was a foul ball involved.
That one almost hit Eisenhut. So 2-2 count. Vele working quickly now after that towering home run from Barsotti, the last at-bat, 2-run shot that gave the Fish Sticks their first lead of the night. Here's the 2-2 as Eisenhut stays alive.
This is a big at-bat for Vele, I think. Obviously, you know, your first real mistakes of the game, the Fish Sticks, make him pay, and now you've got Eisenhut a tough out every time he steps into the box.
Here's another 2-2 outside, now a full count. The second full count in the last 2 innings for Vele. Here's the 3-2, nobody out for Eisenhut, and that's low for ball 4. So all 3 base runners have reached base so far here in the top of the 4th for the Fish Sticks, looking to add on to this 3-1 lead.
Yeah, great AB from Tyler Eisenhut. We've seen that a few times already this year where he is just a really disciplined hitter when he steps in. And now with Eisenhut's speed, of course, you've got a lot of speed threats on this team, but Eisenhut is one of those guys that you always just got to keep an eye on over at first. He already reached on a bunt today, which kind of just proves my point.
So Jordan Singleton going out to talk with Dylan Vele. Again, had 3 innings of really efficient work, allowed just that 1 run on a sac fly from Luke Parker that scored Gavin George. George reached on an error. And then Jackson Dule came up, led things off. First pitch, single up the middle, and then Peyton Barsotti ripped a 2-run shot the next at-bat. Tyler Eisenhut came up and forced a walk on a 3-2 count. And he's at first. And Noah Kung up to the plate as perfectly executed bunt and run. And Noah Kung is going to be safe at first. Boy, I couldn't even get my words out before all of that happened. Eisenhut took off for second base. And Kung laid down a perfect bunt that was right between the pitcher Vele and Dominic Hecker at third. And now 2 are suddenly aboard here with nobody out.
Yeah, you can't really ask for anything else out of Noah Kung. Eisenhut times it perfectly. Kung just, like you said, right in between Vele and Hecker. Vele ends up grabbing it, but Kung is too fast over there. He led King County in stolen bases as a senior in high school. So, you know, obviously he's got some wheels, and he proves it right there. And the Fish Sticks are just kind of manufacturing threats and runs even with their speed right now, which is a welcome sight.
Well, back to the top of the order for the 3rd time as Rylan Gollard steps to the plate. Again, struck out looking with the bases loaded back in the 2nd to end the inning. Now 2 more runners aboard for him. That's low. Nice block from Singleton behind the plate to keep that in front of him. And a 2-0 count.
You can see Vele starting to get a little impatient on the mound, especially now that the Fish Sticks are seeing him. And also with Rylan Gollard in the box, you know, he's trying not to make the same mistake he did to Barsotti, especially with how Gollard's been swinging the bat lately.
got basketball in the mind.
Maybe
Sorry.
he has been swinging the rock recently. You never know. And Gollard shows bunt. He's got a lot of speed. This is another great bunt. There is just no play for Hecker. Vele came up and actually made the play, but no throw to first. So that's the third bunt single for the Fish Sticks today. And now the bases are juiced once again, this time for Gavin George.
I can't even imagine how happy Kribbe is to see this. This is absolutely exactly what he's looking for out of his team. And when you've got your leadoff hitter, probably your most experienced hitter, laying down perfect bunts, and now the bases loaded with nobody out, man, that is just perfect small ball from the Fish Sticks 2 times in a row.
So Barsotti started the party with a 2-run blast to left field to make it a 3-1 ball game. Since then, Tyler Eisenhut walked, Noah Kung and Rylan Gollard had bunted for singles. There's still nobody out and the bases are loaded. Vele delivers a big swing and a miss from George for strike 1.
Yeah, first pitch Vele's put in the zone in a while, and Gavin George probably tried to do too much with it, but another pitch that George maybe could have done something with still as well.
So here's the 1-1. Vele fires up and in for ball 2. So the second time the bases have been loaded for the Fish Sticks. Trying to add on to this 3-1 lead. Again, no outs. Already 2 runs in and the bases loaded here in the top of the 4th. Vele fires. Nice pitch located on the corner for strike 2.
It's been a pretty expanded zone on the outside half for both teams today, and Vele takes advantage of it there. Hits Singleton in a spot where Singleton doesn't really have to move at all.
So 2-2 count now to Gavin George. Vele fires. George hits this well into right field, and that's going to get over the head of the right fielder. George is thinking all 3 runners will come in to score. The throw to third is over the head, and Gavin George clears the bases with a 3-run triple. It's now 6-1 Fish Sticks.
You can't say enough about how Gavin George has been playing as of late, and this game, he is almost just taking over. Creates a run with his legs the last time around the bases, and then just rips a ball over the right fielder's head, and 3-run score. He clears them all, and then that speed comes back into play. It's a triple, and it's a 6-1 Fish Sticks lead. And we saw this against the Yags, a 9 spot in the 6th, and now they're looking at another big inning. Nobody out, and they've already played at 5 in the 4th.
I'm going to bring up Braden Bartholomew. Looked like Chamberlain out there in right field might have had a play at it, but went over his head. It was almost another ground rule double. As Bartholomew looks at strike 1, but instead scores all 3 runs. You saw Kung almost caught up with Eisenhut because Eisenhut was a little confused as if that was going to be caught or not off the bat. But now Gavin George sitting at third. And Bartholomew rips this to third base. A great play by Hecker, and now we've got a pickle. George was gunning for home. George trying to go back to third, and the tag is applied. Bartholomew will reach second base. But unfortunate read from George, who just cleared the bases with that triple, and he's out, and that'll be the first out of the inning.
That's always a tough read when you're a runner on third, but you got to think maybe George should have held up there. Obviously, he's had so many good moments on the base pass already today, and tried to just almost be a hero with that one and add to Bartholomew's tally of runs batted in this season. Heads up play by Bartholomew to get to second as well, but just a tough read.
So after his 4th, 5th, and 6th RBIs of the season, Gavin George is out in a pickle. Bartholomew at second now with 1 out, and Luke Parker to the plate. Bartholomew is going to take off, a hit-and-run scenario up the middle. A tough play, it'll be muffed, and Luke Parker will reach safely. There's so much action in so little time for the Fish Sticks, who are just taking advantage of a couple of fielding errors from the Honkers. That time, it was Abiel Gonzalez who came sliding in, tried to field that one, and muffed it. So now Parker at first, Bartholomew at third, and that'll bring up Vaughn Lowe, who's pinch hitting for Jake Daly.
And that was a really good piece of defensive work by Gonzalez. He totally saved a run by just getting leather on that. It didn't fall right into the mitt, but if he doesn't get a piece of that, Bartholomew scores easily from second, and instead he's held up at third.
So take a deep breath. mainly talking to myself here, as Von Lowe coming in to talk to the umpire for substitutions. So Daly's day is over. Couple of flyouts, 0 for 2 for the DH. So Lowe will slide in here in the top of the fourth. Still only one gone and two on board. As he rips this into left center field, and that'll be a base hit. Bartholomew will score easily. Parker was taking off, looking for two on that pitch. The throw to home, not in time. As Von Lowe with a 2 RBI double. And the Fish Sticks suddenly have an 8-1 lead.
Man, they're totally replicating the 6th inning of the Yaks game on Friday. They bring in Von Lowe in a very similar situation. Lowe had a base hit in that 6th inning that brought in a couple runs in a pinch hit situation, and this time they do the exact same thing. In the first pitch he sees, lines it into the left center gap. Parker already had the jump as he was stealing second, and the throw just not accurate enough to get speedy Luke Parker. 8-1. This has been in a flash.
It has been in a hurry, and we're already back to the person who started the inning, Jackson Dulé, who started things off with a single on the first pitch. So 7 runs are in. There's only one out, and it's been about 2 seconds since Jackson Dulé stepped to the plate to start off this inning. And Von Lowe got that, a 2-run double off of his Tacoma Community College teammate in Dylan Vele.
It seems that there's still nobody up in the Northwest Honkers bullpen either, so they're sticking with Vele and just kind of saying, well, we shouldn't really waste a pitcher here. They're just trusting Vele to get out of it.
So Von Lowe at second with 1 out. As Dulé actually looks at a pitch and a little bit of a breather there in the action for ball 1.
Yeah, you're probably thankful you looked at that one.
There was so much going on
Give
there
you
the
a
last
break.
couple plate appearances. Bailey checking back at low and fires in ball 2.
I'm over here drinking water like I'm in center field. It's so hot out here, and we're in a shed right behind home plate. And
It's honestly a very beautiful day for baseball.
yeah, it really is.
Sun setting in the west, the mountains to the east here at Mount Si. 2-0 is swung on and popped up and back, foul ball.
Kind of a gift for Dulé. That is a pitch that he should have left for ball 3 and instead just gets way under it, but it sneaks out of play.
Again, Dulé single up the middle on the first pitch he saw to begin the inning would eventually come around to score on Peyton Barsati's 2-run home run the next at-bat. That's a nice looking off speed that curls in there for strike 2.
And that's the first sign of Vele in the first 3 innings that I think we've seen in the 4th. It's important for him, especially with no one up in the bullpen, to regain that composure and get out of this inning before the Fish Sticks do any more damage than they already have.
2-2 ripped in between third and short, and that'll be a base hit. Von Lowe's going to be halted at third base. Jackson Dulé's second single of the inning. And first and third, still only 1 out for the Fish Sticks, and that'll bring up Peyton Barsati, who had a 2-run blast about now 5 seconds ago to kind of start the scoring. So it was 1-1 coming into the top of the 4th. Dulé comes in, gets a single. Barsati blasts a no-doubter to left. And since then, 5 more runs have come in, and Barsati looking to tack on more. That almost hit him for ball 1.
This is probably the last guy Vele wants to see in the box right now. Barsati took a fastball that was really just left center cut and ripped it into left field, and obviously, he's probably still feeling good in the box right now.
Dulé doesn't take off, takes a big hack and fouls it straight back. Singleton attempted about a 50-foot vertical jump to try to leap over the fence and try to catch that one, but it's out of play.
Would have been a timely out
That
for the Honkers. They could have used that one.
So an 8-1 lead for the Fish Sticks, a 7-run barrage here in the top of the 4th. Peyton Barsati up for the second time this inning after a 2-run blast. Runners on first and third. Dulé takes off. Barsati watches it go inside for a strike, and Von Lowe is going to score after that errant throw from Singleton, and Dulé will reach third. So the 8th run of the inning coming in, And the Fish Sticks now with a 9-1 lead.
I think this is the first instance that we've truly seen Coach Kirby's vision of controlled chaos just working out beautifully for the Fish Sticks. That time, Dulé breaks for second. Singleton's throw nowhere near on target, and Lowe just cruises into home. Dulé gets an extra base out of it as well.
As Barsotti takes a look at ball two. So a 2-2 count now. Dulé made it all the way to third after the throw just tailed to the right of second baseman Abiel Gonzalez. Barsotti, another hack. This one's popped up. This could be in play. Hecker calls off Singleton, and that'll be the second out of the inning in foul territory. So finally, 2 outs for the Honkers. Tyler Eisenhut strides to the plate for the second time this inning. A 9-1 lead for the Fish Sticks as Eisenhut looks to score Dulé over there at third base. Eisenhut drew a walk and scored earlier this inning as that's fouled straight back for strike one. Oof. That was a lot of action. Again, the Fish Sticks proved it on Friday against the Yaks. They scored 9 in the bottom of the 6th. They proved that they can pour on runs in a hurry, and they've done just that here in the top of the 4th. As that curls in there for strike one. Or strike two, excuse me. So 0-2 count to Eisenhut. Dulé singled for the second time this inning, then stole second and reached third on an errant throw from the catcher Singleton. As this one's lined straight to the shortstop Luke Altum for out number 3, but not before 8 runs are plated by the Fish Sticks in the top of the 4th as they take a commanding 9-1 lead heading into the bottom part of the inning. Well, after an 8-run avalanche in the top of the 4th, the Fish Sticks take the field here in the bottom of the 4th inning with a 9-1 lead. This game has been blown open, and Cole Miller will replace Finn Still after Still went 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 3rd. So it'll be 6, 7, 8 due up for the Honkers, and they've got a long way to go to catch up with the Fish Sticks offense. As Miller throws in there, and first pitch swinging and first pitch single for Hecker. So matching the quick pace that the Fish Sticks had in the top of the 4th, and Hecker, the leadoff man, is aboard.
Cole Miller's first outing against the Blackfins did not go as he envisioned, only 1 inning, and he gave up 5 runs. Only one of them was earned, but I think this is a good situation for Kirby to put Miller in the game and just let him get his confidence back, because that first outing in a game where the Fish Sticks were in it, down 5-3 in the 8th, and Miller's 8th inning put it away for the Blackfins. So a first pitch hit for Dominic Hecker, but a good chance for Miller just regain some confidence with the Fish Sticks in the driver's seat.
So Miller finished his freshman season at Pacific Lutheran, a D3 in Parkland, about 45 minutes south of Seattle. As Cameron Padrone steps to the plate and looks at strike one. Miller had 12 appearances and 3 starts last year with Pacific Lutheran. Big right-hander for this Fish Sticks team. So Hecker with the leadoff single on the first pitch that Miller threw. He's at first. Now Padron to the plate. And he swings at an off-speed that's tailing foul.
Miller goes to the off-speed, even though it's a righty-on-lefty matchup, but he locates it well enough that it kind of just confuses Padron in the box. And there was a similar pitch to Padron in his first at-bat where he worked a walk off Kenji Bray where he just fought it off. So this might be a tough out once again.
Worked that walk, came back from a 1-2 count to force the walk. This one's ripped past Tyler Eisenhut, and 2 quick singles now for the Honkers. That time it's Padron. So now first and second, nobody out for Kazushi Miwa. Honkers, again, got a long way to go, down 9-1, but this is a good start.
Yeah, and I mean, if you want to get back into this game, if you're the Northwest Honkers, this is how you have to start it off. Obviously, you're not going to make up this lead with one swing. So traffic on the base paths early. And now Cole Miller with some work to do.
That'll bring up Miwa, who had a sac bunt back in the second. And he takes strike 1. So Hecker and Padron, 2 hard-hit singles to start off the inning. They're at second and first base with nobody gone here in the bottom of the 4th. Here's the 0-1 from Miller, and Miwa swings and misses at an off-speed, and Miwa's down 0-2.
That's a great pitch from Cole Miller, a curveball that just rolls right off the table. Miwa misses it up high.
So 0-2 to Miwa, looking to cut into this 8-run lead that the Fish Sticks have. Miller delivers another off-speed taken towards center field. Rylan Gullard's going to be under it. No tag at second base from Hecker, and that'll be out number 1.
Yeah, although it might not look it with a couple runners on and 1 down, Cole Miller has gotten way ahead in counts. Obviously gave up a hit on the first pitch he threw, but got ahead on Padron and then gets ahead on Miwa, and it turns into an out. So this is good to see out of number 25, and, 9-1 lead. We talked about this against the Yaks on Friday, but you want to stay efficient on the mound.
You might be hearing Honker's kid in the booth who's running scoreboard. That's Tiefer. That'll be the bottom of the order. And ball 1 to Luke Altum.
Yeah, great hospitality from the Honkers. We've got a pretty nice booth set up, and then obviously Tiefer in here with us on scoreboard.
It's got the shades on.
This has got to be one of the better setups in the PIL for a game. We just got out of Edmonds, and I think this does clear it by a good amount.
I would say. That fastball's inside for ball 2. So Miller dealing with a little bit of trouble coming in relief of Finn Still, who had a 1-2-3 inning in the 3rd. Got Hecker at second base and Padron at first. A couple of singles to start off the inning. Little breeze coming in as Miller checks back at second base at Hecker, who's taking a pretty large lead.
A 9-hitter currently in the box, so all outs are valuable, especially with Parks, who drove in the run in the on-deck circle.
Back to the top of the order on deck. Miller delivers. High fastball fouled straight back.
Excuse me, Parks did not drive in the run. I got my innings confused. The bottom of the first inning, the Honkers scored. But Parks has put together some good at-bats today, and then obviously you've got the dangerous part of the lineup with Singleton in there as well.
So here's the 2-1 to Luke Altum, the 9-hole hitter, fouled straight back. That would have burned me right in the face if there was no fence right here to save me. So now 2-2 count.
Yeah, we got the windows open. Definitely would have been a risky play if there was no fence, but, that's what the backstop's for.
2-2 count now. 2 on second and first, and 1 gone here in the bottom of the 4th. As Miller delivers off speed, that's lined, and it'll bounce to Noah Kung. 6-4 And Eisenhut skied Bartholomew on the throw. So it'll be a fielder's choice to second. Hecker will stay at third. So first and third now with 2 gone in the bottom of the 4th.
And I think Kung might have had the out with the lead runner at third if he decided to go over there. Probably wouldn't have been able to make the play at first, but Eisenhut just couldn't get the throw in there with Padron kind of stopping in the middle of the baseline. Had to airmail his first baseman Bartholomew, and now a spot for the Honkers to cut into this lead against Cole Miller.
It was a weirdly hit ball. Looked like it might have been just a soft line out to Kung, but it bounced to him. He got it to Eisenhut, who overthrew Bartholomew. So first and third now, and extra life for the Honkers as Parks takes a look at a nice off speed for strike 1. Still a 9-1 lead for the Fish Sticks after scoring 8 runs in the top half of this inning. Hecker at third and Altum at first. Here's the 0-1 from Miller. Another off speed, this time swung on and missed for strike 2.
That off speed has been effective for Cole Miller. We saw Bray miss a couple times with it in his 2 innings of work, and now Cole Miller able to locate it, and it's got a lot of chases misses from the Honkers.
So 0-2 count to Parks, who walked his last time up in the 2nd. Miller trying to get out of here unscathed in the bottom of the 4th. 0-2 is high for ball 1. Again, Parks a speedster. Almost beat out a throw to short back in the 1st inning. Altum taking a big lead at first with Hecker over there at third base. Altum takes off and swung on and missed for strike 3. Good off speed from Cole Miller to get out of the danger. And the Fish Sticks will enter the top of the 5th inning still with the 9-1 lead. (9-1-2) due up for the Fish Sticks with a 9-1 lead over the Northwest Honkers. Again, Fish Sticks looking for the first PIL win of the season. It'll be a new pitcher for the Honkers, and Isaiah Pruitt, another right-hander, will take the mound.
Yeah, Pruitt, an interesting case, also a hitter. He went 1 for 4 with a run the other day in the Honkers' last outing, but a righty with some pretty serious heat. The control might be compromised in some cases, so look out for some walks, but also some strikeout stuff from number 40.
Again, the Fish Sticks with 8 runs in the top of the 4th in quick fashion, too, as Barsotti that started it off with a 2-run homer. Then Eisenhut walked Noah Kung, who's due up this inning, had a single. Rylan Gollard had a single. Both of those were bunt singles. And then Gavin George with a 3-run triple to right center field. He was out in a pickle from the next batter, Braden Bartholomew, who would eventually come in to score on a double from Von Lowe 2 batters later. And that's how you do it in quick fashion. And the first pitch from Pruitt nails Kung right on the back. So Kung will take the base. And the leadoff man is aboard.
And yeah, that's exactly what I said is, the velo is going to be there, but the control seems to be all over the place. In the first pitch, it almost sneaks all the way behind Kung in the left-hand batter's box. Now we'll get our first look at Cade Galen today, a pretty early hook for Gullard.
So Gullard, after singling and scoring back in the top of the fourth, it will be the Portland pilot, Cade Galen, who checks in. Noah Kung taking off first pitch. It got past Singleton, and Kung will reach easily. So Kung, on 2 pitches, gets hit in the back on a curveball and steals second base. Galen, barely any time to get acclimated, but a 1-0 count.
Yeah, 2 pitches, already a runner in scoring position, and it was off a hit batsman and then a passed ball. So, the control issues already showing for Pruitt.
Here's the 1-0 in there for the first strike of the day for Pruitt.
I think that's a smart choice by the pitcher, Pruitt, to take his foot off the gas and just kind of loop an off-speed in there. I think the fish sticks were kind of sitting in the box and waiting for him to throw a strike.
So Galen, the speedy lefty from Portland, 1 for 8 start this summer. As this one's chopped towards first base, Padron will toss it to Pruitt, and that'll be an out. So first out of the top of the 5th. Nice fielding work there between Padron and Pruitt.
Yeah, really good cover, but Noah Kung will advance, and now you've got a hitter like Riley Sonoy, who might not have a hit yet this season, but can obviously put a fly ball into the outfield. We've already seen it a couple times already.
So Coach Elliot Kribbe going to the bench pretty early in this one, as Sonoy will replace Gavin George, who again had a 3-run triple that really took this lead to the next level for the Fish Sticks. George was hit by a pitch, reached on air back in the 3rd and scored, and then had that triple. So a busy day through 5 innings, but Sonoy will come in and take his place as the tall lefty takes a look at ball 1.
Yeah, Sonoy, like I said, still looking for that first hit, 0 for 5 on the season with a couple walks to his name.
Has an opportunity for an RBI with Kung at 3rd and just 1 gone. Here's the pitch from Pruitt. That's low for ball 2.
And still, we might be looking at a Fish Sticks approach where they are waiting for their pitch and nothing else. Pruitt still having some troubles finding the zone consistently.
Here's the 2-0 from Pruitt, and Sonoy takes a look at a pitch on the outside corner for strike 1. As you mentioned, Sonoy is hitless in 7 plate appearances, but does have 2 walks on the year. Just finished his freshman year at Pierce College. This one's ripped up the middle, and that'll get through. And Kung will trot home for the 10th run of the game. And Riley Sonoy, his first single of the season, first hit of the season, is an RBI and hard hit ball right up the middle.
Yeah, he gets a pitch right down the middle and returned to sender a little bit right at Isaiah Pruitt, who just had to vacate the area. Sonoy hit that ball very hard and double digits for the Fish Sticks for the 2nd game in a row.
After scoring 14 on Friday in the 10-run rout of the Utah Yaks, the Fish Sticks offense continues to stay hot as Bartholomew takes a look at strike 1. So amidst all the changes already we've seen in this game, Bartholomew, who's played every inning so far this summer, stays in the lineup. And he swings and fouls it out of play. So Sonoy at first after an RBI single that scored Noah Kung, who was hit on the first pitch of the inning by Pruitt. Pruitt, who came in relief of Dylan Veely, who allowed all 9 runs before Pruitt came into the ballgame. Again, 8 runs that came in the top of the 4th, just an avalanche that was the complete opposite of the 9-run avalanche in the bottom of the 6th for the Fish Sticks back on Friday, which took forever. It took about 15 to 20 pitches for the Fish Sticks to score those 8. And this one hits Bartholomew square in the back. So the second hit by pitch of the inning for Pruitt. And Bartholomew gingerly trots over to first.
And you can tell he is just struggling with finding that consistency on the mound. Obviously, the second hit batsman of the inning, and we've already seen a couple hit batters out of the hand of Vele. So Fish Sticks getting battered tonight.
Fist pumps from the booth on that knee slapper right there as Parker steps in and takes a look at strike one.
No one does dad jokes like us, man.
The Fish Sticks with the 10-1 lead, and Parker up with 2 on and 1 gone here in the top of the 5th. And that'll be upstairs for ball 1. So Sonoy, RBI single that scored Noah Kung at second base. Bartholomew was hit by a pitch, and he's at first. And that almost hit Luke Parker, who had to duck out of the way. And Pruitt really struggling to keep the ball in the zone right now.
I think if all 6 feet of Luke Parker stood straight up, that would have cleared him by a good few inches still.
Parker reached on a fielder's choice, or excuse me, he singled. And that one, oh my goodness, that almost hit him again. Right in the face, head face area. That one definitely would have hit him if he didn't fly out of the way last second. So Pruitt's already hit 2 batters in the inning. And Parker's had to play dodgeball, and now a 3-1 count. 3-1 up and in again. And that'll be ball 4. Oh, boy.
At what point when you're a Fish Sticks hitter do you just start thinking about the possibility? Luke Parker just had to move on 3 straight pitches, one that cleared his head, one that was right at his helmet, then one that almost clipped him on the shoulder, and now Von Lowe will step back in, and it's another lefty, the exact same spot where Parker just, like you said, had to play dodgeball.
So Lowe steps in with the bases juiced and 1 out. That one's in the zone and swung on and missed by Lowe. Lowe pinch hit for Jake Daly last inning. Took the first pitch he saw to the gap in left field and scored 2 runs on a 2 RBI double off his Tacoma Community College teammate Dylan Vele, who Pruitt has since replaced. And finding the strike zone once again is Pruitt for strike 2. Again, 2 hit by pitches this inning already and almost hit Luke Parker 3 times in the last at-bat.
Strike zone finder is clearly that slider. He's worked it for a couple strikes on Lowe.
That one's in the turf. Nicely done by Singleton to keep that in front of him. So Sonoy at third scored the first run of the inning with an RBI single straight up the middle that actually almost hit Pruitt. And so a 10-1 lead for the Fish Sticks, whose offense is starting to churn. And here's the 1-2 to Lowe outside for ball 2.
Good watch by Lowe. Pruitt goes to that slider once again. Lowe chased it on the first pitch of this at-bat, and a very similar pitch to the one he tried to go get outside and able to lay off.
Lowe came into Friday's game with no hits. Since then, 2 plate appearances, 2 hits, and 4 RBIs. And that off-speed has fouled off. Again, eerily similar situation to when he pinch hit against the Yaks on Friday. Took the first pitch he saw in a bases-loaded scenario right up the middle. That scored 2. Did the same just last inning. This time it was a double that scored 2. And here's the 2-2. Off-speed and fouled off. So nice at-bat here from Lowe to stay alive.
Yeah, first at-bat from Pruitt that we've really seen him be able to pump the zone, but he doesn't really have that pitch that is a swing and miss pitch. You know what I mean? He doesn't have that put-away pitch, I think, in his arsenal, and Von Lowe's doing a good job of exposing that. It's just a matter of if he can capitalize with a hit.
2-2, bases loaded and 1 out for Von Lowe, and he fouls it off again. A little frustrated he missed that one, but he stays in the count.
He may be a little frustrated, but I think that wasn't really a pitch he could do much with. It was a good fight off regardless.
Another 2-2 incoming from Isaiah Pruitt, who came in relief of Dylan Vele. Here's the 2-2, off speed, up the middle, and that'll lay down. Sonoy will score from third. Bartholomew hustling home. The throw not in time. Lowe will trot to second base. And Lowe, 2 for 2 now. 4 RBIs on the game. 6 RBIs at his last 3 at-bats. And now the Fish Sticks with a 12-1 lead.
Man, Von Lowe is really swinging the stick right now. That pitch, he fights off 3 2-2 pitches, and then the first true strike that he gets just laces it into center field, and it sits down perfectly. And then a good heads-up base running decision to get to second on the errant throw home.
As Jackson Dule steps to the plate with 2 runners in scoring position. That'll get past Singleton. Parker took a look. He really could have scored there. Didn't get a great jump, and he'll stay put at third.
I mean, 2 runners in scoring position, 1 out, you're up 11 runs in the 5th. No real reason to take a risk and send Luke Parker, especially with how this lineup is seeing the ball right now.
So Dule had 2 singles back in the top of the 4th during that 8-run avalanche. And this one's taken towards right field. Chamberlain's not going to get to it. It one-hops the wall. That'll score 2 more. And Dule will hold up at second. And the DubSea Fish Sticks offense cooking with the hot grease here tonight. 14 runs, and we're not done with the 5th inning.
Yeah, that looked like Gavin George's triple, as it looks like the Honkers manager is going to go talk to Isaiah Pruitt, probably going to come out of this game after giving up 5 in the 5th. But, man, Jackson Dule puts a charge into that one, and it just loops right over Chamberlain's head. Probably could have had 3, but similar to Parker not going home on the pass ball, a smart decision to just not take the risk at all and keep your guy at second. And the Fish Sticks are mashing baseballs right now.
So Jackson Dule came in to pinch hit on Thursday at home, this past Thursday at home, against the Blackfins in the 8th inning. Was hitless in his first plate appearance, 6 plate appearances of the season. Rips a triple. The next day he comes in and rips a double against the Utah Yaks. Of course, that was the 14-4 blowout at home at the Friar. And then comes in today, is 3 for 4, had 2 singles last inning in the top of the 4th. Also had a stolen base and a run. And then comes in the very next inning in the top of the 5th and rips a 2-run double to right center field. Talk about coming back with a purpose for Jackson Dule, the speedy right fielder for the Fish Sticks.
As the Honkers switch pitchers here with 1 out in the top of the 5th inning.
Yeah, Pruitt.
They sure did.
As Tiefer here in the booth has just pointed out, Pruitt's day is done. There's 1 out. Pinch runner Noah Benedict coming in at second base for Dule, whose sensational day will come to an end. Again, 3 for 4, a stolen base, a couple of runs, and 2 RBIs for Dule. And this time, the Honkers will go with a lefty, switching from the 2 right-handers that the Fish Sticks saw. The first 2 pitchers, it'll be Lucas Smith on the mound, another one of these utility guys who pitches and hits for the Honkers.
I like the choice to go to a lefty here. Obviously, the Fish Sticks are seeing righties right now. It's 14-1 in the 5th inning. So a good decision, I think, to switch it up on the Fish Sticks roster. And obviously, we'll see Kribbe really reach into the deep depths of his bench up 14-1, especially with the handedness change.
So the question now becomes, or it changes, from are the Fish Sticks going to get their first PIL win of the season to how many runs can the Fish Sticks score here at Mount Si High School against the Honkers. They have 14 right now in the top of the 5th with a runner on second and just 1 gone. It was 1-1 heading into the top of the 4th. Then 8 runs were put on in the top of that inning, and 5 runs, excuse me, coming here in the top of the 5th as Peyton Barsotti steps to the plate and takes a look at ball 1. Barsotti started the rally going with a 2-run blast to left center field back in the 4th. His first hit of the year in spectacular fashion. This one's ripped up the middle, but right at the center fielder Josh Parks. Hard hit for out number 2.
Feels like it was about time the Honkers got a break, and Barsotti really did put good wood into that baseball, but right at Parks out in center. So the second out of the inning, but still with a runner in scoring position, and Benedict can go too out at second. Just the magnitude is the question. You're right.
So as Angus just said, Kribbe will be dipping into the bench. Here's another one, Alex Hamada stepping in for Noah Kung, who actually led off this inning and was hit by a pitch and came around to score. And Hamada looks at strike 1.
I believe he's in for Tyler Eisenhut.
Oh, you're right.
Actually, that would make more sense as Hamada, has been primarily playing over at second base. It looks like Kung will be subbed out, though. Isaac Watson is in the on-deck circle for the Fish Sticks.
So again, Kribbe emptying the bench. Angus is correct. He's pinch hitting for Tyler Eisenhut. So Eisenhut's day is over. Eisenhut, a single, a walk, and a run. Had a bunt single back in the 2nd as Hamada looks at that ball in the turf.
Another question for Kribbe in this game is the pitchers really have performed well through the first 4 frames, but it's a question of who do you want to use, especially now that the Fish Sticks have not only taken a big lead, they've taken a massive lead.
As Hamada a little bit frustrated, he took a check swing that went foul on a pitch way up in the zone.
Isaac Watson just can't stop fielding. Such a good fielder, and he had to go get that ball. It just called to him.
So Hamada, a 2-1 count with Noah Benedict pinch running for Jackson Dulé at second. That off-speed driven to the shortstop, Luke Altum, and fires a throw across the diamond for out number 3. But this Fish Sticks offense is hard to stop right now. 13 runs in the last 2 innings, and they take a 14-1 lead heading into the bottom of the 5th. A 13-run hole for the Northwest Honkers hosting the DubSea Fish Sticks here in the bottom of the 5th. The last 2 innings, the Fish Sticks bats have been blazing. After going into the top of the 4th tied 1 apiece, the Fish Sticks have put on 13 runs in the last 2 innings to take a 14-1 lead as Cole Miller steps in for another inning of work for the Fish Sticks. And fires, and first pitch swinging and first pitch single for Abiel Gonzalez to start off the 5th, but still a long uphill battle for the Honkers.
Yeah, second straight inning where the first pitch Cole Miller throws is driven for a base hit, but I think Miller showed a lot of composure in an inning where he got pretty unlucky in the 4th, which now feels pretty long ago, even though it was just 3 outs prior to right now.
Cole Miller checks back at first, fires in, and that's fouled off for strike 1 to Logan Pontecorvo. Again, the Fish Sticks coming into this game, 2-3 record on the year. All 3 losses came to a PIL opponent in the Seattle Blackfins. 2 of those were 1-run heartbreakers. As Miller goes in, fires in ball one. Of course, the question was, could they turn it around and get their first win in PIL play after really cruising to a PIL championship last season in an 18-1 championship victory? And they are well on their way to that first win tonight. As Pontecorvo fouls that back, 1-2 count.
Obviously, it's a pretty low leverage outing for Cole Miller, but we have seen probably his best stuff of the season so far, and that includes what we saw in practices and then obviously that tough outing against the Blackfins. He's been able to really pump the zone, which is something I think he's struggled with this summer so far, and he's making the Honkers do damage, which they've put barrel the ball a couple times, but he's not given out a lot of free passes so far today.
And another foul out of play from Pontecorvo. A couple of strikeouts swinging for him back in the first and back in the third. So Gonzalez with a leadoff single. He's at first. 1-2 count with nobody out in the bottom of the fifth for the Honkers. Here's the 1-2 off speed is high for ball two.
Yeah, it looks like he just let go of it a little early, but I like that choice as well. And Pontecorvo, you know, I think he's just looking to put this ball in play. He had a tough first two at-bats.
Cole Miller protecting a 14-1 lead for the Fish Sticks as that's skied up. Now a full count to Pontecorvo. Right now is a good opportunity for anyone on the Fish Sticks, maybe struggling at the plate or on the mound, to start the summer to kind of gain that confidence back with such a large lead this early into the game for the Fish Sticks.
Yeah, I think that's why I like the Cole Miller move so much from Kirby. Is like, obviously he had that tough outing, but he has looked pretty good so far, and it looks like he'll get the first out of the fifth here.
This one's popped out in foul territory, and Sonoy comes in to make the catch in foul grounds for out number one. So Sonoy came in the last inning, had an RBI single for his first hit of the season in the top half of this inning. Again, a lot of changes have been made on the infield. Isaac Watson now at third, Luke Parker at short, Alex Hamada at second, and then Sonoy in right, Cade Galen in center. And again, a lot of changes. There is a lot of changes to be expected with the lineup throughout the game anyway for Elliott Kribbe and the Fish Sticks, but especially with a 14-1 lead here in the bottom of the fifth, there will be plenty more.
Nice
First pitch. Yeah, catches the outside corner for strike one on Jordan Singleton.
Yeah, it's got the run of a two-seamer, but, you know, he throws it pretty fast. Definitely one of the faster two-seams you're going to see in the PIL. And when he's able to locate it, it's pretty nasty.
Gonzalez at first after a leadoff single to start the inning, as that's outside for ball one. Gonzalez has scored the only run of the game for the Honkers after walking back in the first inning. A lead that they held for a little bit. And the Fish Sticks tied it at one apiece going into the fourth. And then 8 runs in the top of the fourth and 5 more in the top of the fifth for a Fish Sticks offense that needed a turnaround and has gotten it in the last 2 games. And after scoring 14 runs on Friday against the Axe, have put up 14 with 4 innings to go here at Mount Si High School. And that's up for ball 3.
Yeah, this is a great sight to see for this offense, especially with a couple big games coming up against the Seattle Studs on Thursday and Friday of this week, and then they go into 4 straight against the Redmond Dudes over the next week or so after that. So, you know, a long stretch of PIL games on the way.
As that one catches the outside corner for strike 2.
That's never the conundrum you want to be caught in. Singleton bat flips thinking it's ball 4, and instead it's strike 2, and now he's got to go walk over and grab his bat. Alex Chamberlain in the on-deck circle gets a good laugh out of that.
So 3-2 count with 1 out. Abiel Gonzalez over there at first base. Sun's starting to set here, creating a beautiful environment here at Mount Si High School. And this one's popped up into the outfield. Should be an easy play. And it is for out number 2.
And after Singleton had a pretty hefty bat flip on ball 4, you could tell the Fish Sticks dugout wanted that out for Cole Miller, and he kind of jammed Singleton on the inside half for a fly out and routine for Benedict. And a pretty loud pop from the Fish Sticks dugout given the situation.
So only 2 position players that started the game are still in for the Fish Sticks. Peyton Barsotti behind the plate and Braden Bartholomew at first base. Now 2 gone for Alex Chamberlain. That's just outside for ball 1.
Man, Braden Bartholomew, it doesn't matter the situation. It seems like he'll just always stay in over at first. It's been impressive to see. It's just like no matter if there's not runners on or if it's a big spot or whatever, Braden Bartholomew has kind of just been a handyman for this team so far this season.
And now the only player to play in every inning after Rylan Gollard and Gavin George are both on the bench. So 2-0 count for Cole Miller, 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th, protecting a 14-1 lead. And that's hit hard into the left field gap, and that'll get down. This should be extra bases for Chamberlain, who's had the most success on offense for the Honkers, and it is. Gonzalez didn't get a great jump on it and stays at third, so runners at second and third now with 2 outs.
Yeah, the scoreboard may not show it, but Chamberlain has had a great day at the plate, almost an identical hit to the one that drove in a run back all the way in the first inning. It seems like an eon ago, but Chamberlain gets about the same pitch and does the exact same thing with a good coverage by Benedict out and left to save the run.
They'll bring up Dominic Hecker. Had a single his last time up back in the 4th. So runners on second and third with 2 gone. And Miller fires a strike, well placed on the outside corner. So Gonzalez at third. Chamberlain, who had an RBI single back in the 1st, doubles and is at second. Here's the 0-1. Nice off speed. Swing and a miss for strike 2.
Yeah, Hecker was fooled on that pitch. 2 straight off speeds for Cole Miller, now way ahead, and he has done a really good job of getting ahead in counts. He just hasn't been able to finish them off sometimes.
So trying to get out of this jam and make it 2 scoreless innings is Cole Miller, and strike 3 is called. So Miller gets out of it. Again, 2 scoreless in relief for Cole Miller, the right-hander out of Pacific Lutheran. The Fish Sticks entering the 6th with a 14-1 lead. To the 6th inning we go here at Mount Si High School. The Fish Sticks coming in, visiting about 35 minutes north of West Seattle, and come in with a 14-1 lead as we enter the back third of the game. Lucas Smith, the left-hander, still on for the Honkers after taking relief of Pruitt in the last inning. And it'll be Isaac Watson leading it off for the Fish Sticks, who are holding a comfortable lead.
Yeah, Watson, this is definitely on purpose now with Barsotti and Sonoy with hits in this game. Isaac Watson, the only Fish Stick hitter left without a hit this summer. So
Watson coming in for Noah Kung in the 9-hole slot tonight. And he takes a look at strike one. Again, no question marks with Watson in the field. A fantastic fielder over there at the hot corner at third base. But struggling a little bit from the plate this season, as that's in there for another strike. And Watson quickly down 0-2.
Lucas Smith started him off with a couple nice fastballs.
Tries to go off speed and got away from him and outside for ball one. Again, Watson from Centralia College, sandwiched in between Portland and Seattle. Off speed, he held on it, but drives it foul. Hitless in his first 9 plate appearances of the summer is Watson, but has drawn 2 walks and scored 2 runs. And here's the 1-2 from Smith. That's low. Now 2-2 count.
That's a good watch from Watson, too. Smith already was able to curl one in that Watson fouled off. Was able to read that one misses low.
Here's the 2-2, swung on and fouled. That was a little low. Looked like ball 3 there. Watson a little upset with himself, but he'll stay in the count.
Cade Galen on deck. I mean, outside of Evan Hellner and Beckett Turnbow, I think we've seen every possible hitter for the Fish Sticks today.
And this one's ripped, but right at the shortstop, Luke Altum. Really good piece of hitting there from Watson, but that'll be out number 1.
Yeah, Watson's unlucky start to the year continues. He showed some serious bounce off the bat, but that one, like you said, Altum didn't even have to take a step, and it just fell right into his leather.
So back to the top of the order, it's Cade Galen who replaced Rylan Gollard in center field. Galen grounded out to first, his first at-bat of the game, and that's inside for ball 1. Again, a lot of speed with Galen, the Portland Pilot at the Division I level. Now 1 for 9 to start the year, so been a little bit of a slow start. And that one's high and inside for ball 2. Again, over 30 players on this roster for the Fish Sticks, but Angus, we're starting to see kind of a lineup beginning to form a little bit, at least the starting lineup for the DubSea Fish Sticks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen a lot of different looks in these first few games and a lot of substitutions mid-game, especially today. I mean, obviously, that's kind of bound to happen in a situation like this, but I think the outfield is really the place to look when you're talking about you're seeing a lineup start to form, and it looks like Gullard, George, and Dulé is going to be the everyday guys out in the grass.
As that's a strike to Galen, so now 3-1 count. So here's the 3-1 from Lucas Smith, who fires it in there for strike 2. Now the count is full.
Bit of a gift there, I think. Maybe an expanded zone and a 13-run game. That probably is ball 4 if this game is a little more tightly contested.
3-2 with 1 out here in the top of the 6th as Smith fires in and Galen rips it foul. Again, this game was 1-1 going into the top of the 4th before the Fish Sticks put up 8 runs in the top of the 4th. Yes. The umpire's directing us to close the window.
Wow, we're getting involved.
We are.
Kyle.
Look at us. Broadcasters are athletes too, at the end of the day.
I think he could hear us.
I
maybe,
think so.
maybe we're not that good.
Maybe we're,
if
yeah.
he made us close the window, I don't
that's
think
true.
he's liking it.
But here's the 3-2. Up the middle, going to be a tough play, and it'll get through. So Cade Galen with his second hit of the season.
Yeah, he works a great count and just kind of battles off a bunch of pitches, stays alive, and then gets the 3-2 strike that he was looking for and just blasts it right up the middle, base hit.
That'll bring up Sonoy in the 2-hole position. That's low for ball 1. Still only 1 gone here in the top of the 6th. in what's turning out to be a picturesque night here at Mount Si High School. As Smith delivers, that's off the corner. Now 1-2-0 count.
We haven't been to many of the away stadiums in the PIL yet this season, but I think we already have a winner for best views
I would agree.
in the league. This is pretty incredible stuff. We are right in the mountains up Snoqualmie.
Mount Si is not disappointed. Again, the mountains filling your view to the east down the right field line, and then the sun is setting on the west down the left field line. Here's the 2-0 that Sonoy just watches whiz past him for strike one. Sonoy singled for his first hit of the year back in the top of the fifth, would eventually come around to score as well. That one's ripped down the right field line, but foul.
I think we've seen a few instances now of the Fish Sticks just being a little early on Lucas Smith's stuff.
Again, Lucas Smith, the third pitcher of the ball game for the Honkers. Dylan Vele started out the game and let up 8 earned before Pruitt came in and allowed 6 earned of his own. That's in the turf, and ball 4 for Sonoy. So Galen will trot to second, Sonoy to first, and 2 on with 1 gone in the top of the 6th.
Braden Bartholomew, like I said, one of the better situational hitters you've ever seen. Obviously, 14-1 game situational hitting, not a skill that he's probably going to tap into here, but just it's incredible what he can do with a sac fly. I've never seen anything like it.
Again, it's 5 RBIs, which coming into this game was tied for second on the team before Gavin George's 3-run triple back as a part of that 8-run 4th inning was his 6th RBI of the season. As Smith delivers, this is hit hard towards right field. Chamberlain going back, and he'll make the catch. Galen will take off for third and will reach with ease. So first and third now with 2 gone in the top of the 6th.
He put a pretty good charge in that ball. I thought it might have some carry out to the wall, but easy play for Chamberlain, and now Luke Parker with a chance to extend the Fish Sticks lead further.
So Galen at first, Sonoy at first, Galen at third. Sonoy's been up twice and has been on base twice as Parker fouls off the first pitch. Parker a single and a walk his last 2 at-bats in the 4th and the 5th, has scored both times as well.
Something we haven't seen from Luke Parker yet, us personally, he has pitched this year, but we haven't really seen him on the mound. He started against the Blackfins last Sunday, I believe that was, but still yet to see his work on the mound, but that's a hit.
And that was ripped in front of the left fielder, Miwa, and that'll score the 15th run of the game for the Fish Sticks. A well-hit ball by Parker, who's having himself quite the night now. Had a sac fly back in the 3rd, 2 hits in the 4th and the 5th, and now an RBI single.
Speaking of having quite the night, Von Lowe will step in. 3 for 4 in his last 4 at-bats, and he's driven in 6 over the past couple games.
Lowe takes a look at an off-speed. It's in there for ball 1, as you mentioned. On quite the streak, his last few at-bats now after starting the season with 6 hitless plate appearances. He's got 2 more on, try to inflict more damage. That was generously gifted a strike on the top half of the zone.
3 for 4 in his last 4, and the 1 out, I mean, it was in the 9th of a 14-4 game, and he was probably safe. He should probably be 4 for 4 in his last 4. It was just we got to get out of here. I'm trying to get home as early as possible call.
And 6 RBIs on the season have all come in his last 3 hits. And runners on second and first. Again at the top of the zone, generously gifted for a strike.
Clearly the take sign is on pretty deep into counts for the Fish Sticks. I think they're waiting until 2 strike counts, or if it's just center cut, they're hacking at it.
Here's the 2-2. That's low. For Von Low.
Nice.
Thank you. Gotta sneak him in. I don't think I'll beat your battered joke back there in the 5th, but
no, I gotta say I'm pretty proud of that. That might be going on the highlight reel.
that will. 3-2 count now to Von Low. 2 on. Runners are going with 2 outs. This one's chopped towards the shortstop, Luke Altum, who makes the throw, and a nice pick by Padron. But not before another run is tacked across for the Fish Sticks, who hold a 15-1 lead going in to the bottom of the 6th. Here for the bottom of the 6th, the Fish Sticks add on to their lead. Now a 15-1 advantage over the Northwest Honkers here at Mount Si. Kyle Sweeney and Angus Trangmo with you to bring you all the action. And it'll be the first appearance of the season for the left-hander Duncan Boz for the Fish Sticks.
Yeah, Boss. Redshirted at Seattle U in 2026. Going to be going into his redshirt freshman season next spring. 1.81 ERA in just over 20 innings in 2024 at Bainbridge Island High School. Only guy from the islands we have on the Fish Sticks this year, and he did pitch for DubSea last season, so a familiar face for Coach Kribbe and his staff.
A beautiful place is Bainbridge Island.
Yeah, it really is. It's one of the gems of the area, and you know the ferries are just whimsical. I like the concept of a ferry. You know, I'm from Montana where there's no water, so it's cool to me that you can just drive your car into a boat and then just get out.
It's great.
Yeah, that's fun.
It's pretty awesome.
That's fun for me.
What's not awesome for the Honkers right now is that they are staring at a 15-1 deficit here in the bottom of the 6th. It'll be 7, 8, 9 due up for the Honkers, and Cameron Padron will step to the plate. A single and a walk. It's been a good night at the plate for Padron. As Boz's first pitch of the summer is up and away for ball 1.
Yeah, the ball's going to come pretty hot out of Duncan Boss's hand. So,
a D1 talent, a lot of velocity for the left-hander. As you said, a Fish Sticks veteran, one of the few on the squad. And that's low and away for ball 2.
This is going to be the first real game outing for Boss in a while, so it may take him a couple batters to really settle in, and that might be showing here against Padron.
Might be blinded by Padron's bright green cleats his first couple of pitches.
Yeah, Jordan Bryan, I don't think he has competition, but at least someone's in the same league as Jordan Bryan on the shoe game in the PIL.
Well, that's now 3 straight balls for Duncan Boss. Again, his first appearance of the season, 4th pitcher of the night for the Fish Sticks. And that one's low for ball 4, so the second walk of the game for Padron, and he's on all 3 times, and the leadoff man is aboard.
You can see Boss kind of just smiling. He knows that it might take him a couple of batters to really find it again, as Coach Kribbe is going to go talk to him and make sure everything and everyone is on the same page. And this is a perfect place for Duncan Boss to kind of just find that groove once again. Obviously, I think he's going to be a guy that Kribbe turns to in bigger spots down the stretch of the season.
Sporting the number 51 for the Fish Sticks this summer. You said from Bainbridge Island, a 3-time first-team Olympic leaguer as an outfielder, but is listed as only a left-handed pitcher. And he's on the mound right now here in the bottom of the 6th, and still looking for his first strike of the summer as Kazushi Miwa steps to the plate. Miwa deep fly out to center field, his last time up in a sac bunt back in the 2nd. As Miwa swings and misses, so there's the first strike for Duncan Boss. Padron not taking much of a lead at all over at first. Will not be looking to swipe second base. Boss delivers on the corner for strike 2.
On the corner is a stretch. I think that kind of grazed the inside line of the right-hand batter's box. Probably missed outside, but the zone has definitely grown as the night goes on.
Here's the 1-2 as Miwa fouls it back and stays alive. As you mentioned, the velocity is definitely there for Duncan Boss.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen that fastball a bunch of times. I don't think he's thrown anything else yet. Maybe on the 3-0 that missed, he went to the changeup, but it really just has been fastball heavy, and that's what we're going to see out of him all year. So why not come out in your first appearance looking like it?
And that's low, so 2-2 count. Boz walked the first batter he saw in Cameron Padron, who walked for the 2nd time today. He's over at first. Now 2-2, nobody gone in the bottom of the 6th. This one's ripped. Alex Hamada's got it. He goes to 2, gets the out at 2nd. Parker really had to stretch out, so no throw to first. So that'll be the first out of the inning, and Miwa will be at first.
Yeah, the dugout for the Fish Sticks was screaming 1-1-1 to Alex Hamada. He didn't really listen. He went over to 2. He had all kinds of time, and the throw to Parker was accurate enough that Parker could make the stretch happen and get the out at 2nd.
Yeah, Hamada, a great fielder at second base and has been for Chaminade down there in Honolulu. First pitch for Luke Altum, ripped into center field, and that'll get down for a hit. Miwa is thinking third. Here's the throw from Galen, and perfect. Miwa is gunned down at third base, and Cade Galen showed off the arm to get the 2nd out of the inning.
The gun from Cade Galen couldn't place that throw in a better spot. Watson puts down the tag in a blink, and I mean, if you're the Honkers, you're just trying to get runs any way you can, and when Galen's making throws like that out from center field, you kind of just have to laugh and shake your head at this point.
That was perfectly placed. Isaac Watson with a great tag there at third. Just one-hopped him right into the perfect spot. And Miwa slid head first into it. So 2 outs now in the bottom of the 6th and back to the top of the order with Josh Parks. And Parks is way behind that fastball and swings and misses at strike 1.
And that's where just the pure velocity of that fastball comes into play for Duncan Boss. Parks had no chance of making contact with that.
So Altum reached second base on his last single after the throw to third from Galen. 2 gone. He's the lone runner on as that's outside for ball 1. Still a 15-1 lead for the Fish Sticks in the bottom of the 6th. An offensive barrage in the 4th and 5th innings saw 13 combined runs. And they hold a comfortable lead over the Honkers as Parks still behind on the fastball, now a 1-2 count.
Yeah, the control is going to be the question for Duncan Boss. I mean, we saw it on that first batter. It was 4 straight balls, but ever since then, it has just been everything in the zone, and it's working so far.
Boz shakes off a pitch. now set to go. Here's the 1-2 with 2 down. Another swing and a miss from Parks. And Boz is out of the inning. Another scoreless inning for the Honkers. And the Fish Sticks entering the 7th with a 15-1 lead. We've reached the top of the 7th here at Mount Si High School between the Honkers and the Fish Sticks. The Fish Sticks with a 15-1 lead. Another pitching change for the Honkers, and it'll be Logan Pontecorvo, who was hitting 3-hole today, and now he'll take an appearance on the mound with his team down 14 runs.
Yeah, Pontecorvo didn't really have his best day at the plate, but we've seen a few guys on this Honkers roster have that dual threat ability, being able to hit and pitch at the same time. And in a game that isn't really tightly contested like this one, it's interesting to see Pontecorvo come in, and we'll see the rare pitcher that will likely stay in the lineup, I would think. Pontecorvo hitting third as well.
He's 0 for 3 at the plate, but looking to reverse his fortunes on the mound, as Noah Benedict steps to the plate for the first time. 6-7-8 due up for the Fish Sticks. Benedict pinch ran for Jackson Dulé, who had a fantastic night, was 3 for 4 with a couple RBIs. As Benedict fouls it off. Benedict 2 for 6 entering this plate appearance with the walk. Is going to attend New Mexico State this next season. A lot of speed from him, as well as Angus has mentioned. And that's a little high for ball 1.
Peyton Barsotti is still in the on-deck circle for the Fish Sticks, so it looks like Kribbe is just giving Evan Hellner the day off.
And that's swung on and missed, so actually 2-2 now for Benedict, who has impressed so far in his limited plate appearances. Barsotti had a 2-run shot back in the 4th. He's waiting on deck as ball 3 up and in. From Pontecorvo.
Pontecorvo, a little more velocity than the last few guys the Honkers have put on the bump.
So here's the payoff to Noah Benedict, and that's outside for ball 4, so Benedict will take his bag. And Peyton Barsotti is up looking to add on to his big day.
Yeah, Barsotti, I mean, that homer in the 4th, even though it seems like a long time ago, it is really what got just the parade around the bases started for the Fish Sticks, and he did put a good charge on that ball, and Vele was just never the same after that.
And Barsotti
Oh my goodness,
coming out swinging. That ball was at least 6 inches off on the outside part of the zone.
I think Pontecorvo could have thrown that into left center, and Barsotti was swinging at it. He was just all go.
That one, same spot, different result. Barsotti laid off. Again, Barsotti came in to that at-bat in the 4th inning, hitless in 11 plate appearances. Was hit by a pitch back in the 2nd, but took the first pitch he saw and gave it for a ride to left center field. The third homer of the season for the Fish Sticks so far, the first of the campaign for Barsotti. We expect to see at least a couple more this summer. He's shown some serious pop in BP. As Benedict takes off, the throw from Singleton is not in time. A great jump from Benedict, and there's the speed on display. So now he's at second with nobody gone.
Yeah, Benedict went 15 for 15 on stolen bases at Puyallup High School. His career down south of Seattle, and he really has been a great threat on the base paths for the Fish Sticks this season.
Barsotti, another big hack at that one in the zone. Caught a piece, but that's strike two. Full count here to the St. Mary's product, Peyton Barsotti. And took a little bit of an awkward swing there on a pitch outside the zone, and that'll be strike three. Still a great night nonetheless for Barsotti, who, as you mentioned, got the scoring started in the fourth with a two-run blast. That was a no-doubter to left field. But he is retired for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up Alex Hamada. That almost clipped Hamada on the hands there for ball one.
Hamada's been great with runners in scoring position. Might not have the best average on the team, but with only 3 hits, he's driven in 3 runs. So obviously knows what he's doing in clutch positions, and that might bring home another no. They'll keep Benedict to third. That makes sense.
Benedict didn't get a great jump, but I don't think Kribbe was going to send him regardless. But Alex Hamada, a nice piece of hitting, and 4th hit of the year for Hamada. So first and third now with 1 gone, and that'll bring up Isaac Watson, who's looking for his first hit of the summer.
Yeah, this would be a nice breakthrough for Isaac Watson. It would mean every Fish Sticks hitter has a hit this summer. So do you think maybe Kribbe kept Benedict on to help Isaac Watson? I don't know. That's an interesting one because clearly they're trying to get Watson going.
It is a 15-1 lead. That might have played a little
Yeah,
part of it,
course.
but Kribbe did send Benedict on a stolen base to second. As there's second straight ball to Watson.
We've also seen Watson on the mound through a scoreless inning.
That's up and away. Another ball from Pontecorvo, who's the 4th pitcher for the Honkers. Here in the top of the 7th, the Fish Sticks with the 15-1 lead put 13 of those runs in the 4th and the 5th. And that's upstairs again, 3 balls and 1 strike. Seen a couple hitters gather their first hits of the season for the Fish Sticks already today. And Watson tried to do it but fouled it straight off the catcher Singleton's face mask. Might have clipped the umpire there too. Gonna shake that off a little bit.
Yeah, almost. I think it might have been the trifecta. Off the bat of Watson, off Singleton the catcher, right off the mask, and then clips the umpire in the shoulder. Second game we've had a trifecta in a row. Interesting.
Look at that.
Do they keep stats on that?
I don't think so. Here's the payoff that's off the corner, and that'll be ball 4. So is hitless, but that's the 3rd walk of the season for Isaac Watson. And now the bases are juiced. Back to the top of the order with Cade Galen.
Galen's throw in the bottom of the 6th, I mean, there's not a lot of throws that you're going to see that are better placed than that.
Pontecorvo delivers, and that's in there for strike 1. Galen, nice single in between first and second last time he was up. Did come around to score as well. Big speedy guy for the Fish Sticks as he fouls it straight off Singleton's mask again. Now quickly behind 0-2.
Galen's always a tough strikeout, and bases loaded, 1 out. He'll definitely be trying to just put something in play.
0-2, that's popped up. Will it be the distance? Chamberlain storming in will make the catch. That was a tough play by him. Second baseman Abiel Gonzalez and him almost collided. You see some cheers from the Honkers bench. It hasn't been a bright spot tonight, but they're still having fun. And that's out number 1.
I think that's out number 2. Barsati struck
That
out
is-
earlier this
that is
frame.
correct.
Yes, okay, I thought so.
Boy, am I losing it?
16 runs will kind of
I think I'm losing it.
will kind of just smooth out the focus, I think.
Sonoy to the plate, and that is strike 1. I know
Yes,
that for certain.
it sure is, Kyle.
I also know that Sonoy collected an RBI single back in the 5th and also walked in the 6th. That one's outside for ball 1.
Also a fun development to this game. I've become the scoreboard operator at Mount Si High School. Our friend Tiefer, I don't know, he's been removed from the press box.
He's been replaced
Yeah,
by
he's been-
freshman phenom from Arizona State, Angus Trangmo. 2 balls and 1 strike. That is correct.
This is a fun argument. So I'm in between my freshman and sophomore year, right? Am I a freshman or a sophomore right now?
I think you're a sophomore.
Okay.
As Sonoy fouls that back, so 2-2 count. Bases juice. Sonoy looking to add on to this offensive avalanche that the Fish Sticks have here tonight with 15 runs after scoring 14 on Friday against the Yaks. So 29 runs in their last 2 games. And Sonoy rips this, and that'll get through. And the Fish Sticks will add to the total. Kribbe will not send Alex Hamada, so a 16-1 lead for the Fish Sticks, and Sonoy another RBI single.
Yeah, and that ball was driven as well. No chance at it over on the right side of the infield. And like you said, Hamada definitely could have scored off that ball, I think. It's just a matter they're not really interested in running Hamada. And Evan Hellner will come into this game.
There we go.
So we are one Beckett Turnbow away
From seeing the full
from
batting
seeing the
order.
entire Fish Sticks lineup getting a plate appearance in this one.
Well, out of that Fish Sticks lineup, Hellner has had the most success this season, leading the team with a .375 batting average. Had the first of 3 homers, or the second of 3 homers on the season for the Fish Sticks at Edmonds Field against the Blackfins.
Do you know what this means right here? Braden Bartholomew is out of the game for the first time this season.
Wow. Look at that.
That's a big moment. I just had to say something, I guess.
As Hellner is ahead 2-0, and Sirius Pop committed to New Mexico State out of Sumner High School, one of the youngest players on this squad. And he takes a big rip. Padron with a nice play at first. He'll hustle and get the 3rd out of the inning. But another run comes across for the Fish Sticks. To the 7th inning stretch we go at a 15-run lead. In the bottom of the 7th here at Mount Si High School, the Fish Sticks adding on to their already wide lead, now up 16-1 on the Northwest Honkers and well on their way to their first PIL victory of the season. And another pitching change, it will be Nathan Burke, the side armor, now in for the Fish Sticks.
Yeah, Burke, 3 1/3 on the season. He's given up 3 earned runs, but only 1 hit. That has come from 4 walks and a few other free passes onto base. So it'll be interesting to see if Burke can find the control with how low leverage this is. And it looks like the Honkers reaching their bench as well.
Yes, it will be Seamus Brown from Olympic College who steps in and pops it up first pitch. And right to Burke, who collects his own out for out number 1. So 1 pitch and 1 out.
Yeah, nice pitch. He kind of just jams Brown on the inside part with the hands, and then, not a lot of times where you see the pitcher feel the pop fly in the infield, but he does just that.
So this will bring up the DH then turned relief pitcher Logan Pontecorvo for the 4th time here in the 7th. And Pontecorvo takes it up the middle. Going to be a tough play to Hamada. Jeter throw across the diamond will not be in time. So Pontecorvo will reach base for the first time in those 4 at-bats.
You got to love that effort from Alex Hamada, though. You're up 16-1, and if an accurate throw might get the runner there, but the throw was nowhere near where it needed to be to have Hellner make that play, and it was a pretty good play to keep it in the infield in the first place.
And that'll bring up the big catcher Jordan Singleton hitting cleanup. So Pontecorvo at first. He couldn't even take a lead before Singleton ripped that foul. Singleton 0 for 2 with a walk. Walked back in the first. Grounded out to shortstop back in the 3rd and flew out to left field his last time up. 0-1 count. Nathan Burke on the mound here with 1 out. Sidearm delivers. Changeup just low and outside.
I think this is the first time we've seen Nathan Burke from right behind home plate, and it is tough to read the ball out of his hands. Obviously, the sidearm angle is going to do that.
Burke fires in there, hit hard, but right to Luke Parker. He flips it to Hamada. Double play ball is in time. So quick work for Nathan Burke in the bottom of the 7th. A 1-2-3 inning. And the Fish Sticks maintain their 15-run lead going into the 8th. a 16-1 lead here for the Fish Sticks at Mount Si High School against the Northwest Honkers. Again, well on their way to their first PIL win of the season. The sun is setting at Mount Si. A beautiful night. Virtually no wind, around 70 degrees. The clouds are starting to get a little pink and orange. It is beautiful here, Angus.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's like I got dropped in my hometown a little bit, and it is really cool to see, just like a setting like this for baseball. And, as dominant as those mountains are, I think the Fish Sticks have been more dominant than the mountains tonight.
That is probably
ever
true.
Since the first 3 innings where the Honkers really did keep the Fish Sticks at bay, especially with the bats, it has just been a uprising from the Fish Sticks lineup, and it's turned into a 16-1 lead as Luke Parker was looking to put that in those mountains out in center field.
Yeah, he took a big hack at the first pitch from Ryder Dingsdale, who is the 5th pitcher for the Honkers, and he'll take over here in the top of the 8th. Parker, the only starter left in the game for the Fish Sticks. That's outside for ball 1.
We were just talking during the break. It would make sense to put Becca Turnbow in the box in this moment and get every single Fish Stick hitter in the lineup for today, but it looks like Kribbe is done at third base, and it looks like they're not going for what might be Fish Sticks history. I don't know. 16
runs after scoring 14 on Friday against the Yaks. This offense has completely turned it around. After a sub-190 team batting average to start the first 4 games of the season, it has been nothing but runs since then. And Luke Parker took a harder swing at strike 2, which I didn't even think was possible. But now a 2-2 count. As Dingsdale delivers off speed and lined out right to the second baseman for out number 1. Little unfortunate there for Parker.
Yeah, that ball was hit on a line and hit pretty well, but, the Brown was just right there, really impossible for him to not get a glove out and make that play.
That'll bring up Vaughn Lowe, who pinch hit for Jake Daly. Had a 2-run double back in the 4th, a part of that 8-run barrage. And then had a 2-run single back in the 5th as part of a 5-run barrage. So 13 runs across those 2 innings effectively put the game away in the 5th after it was tied 1-1 going into the 4th. As that kisses the corner for strike 2.
Yeah, Dingsdale's shown some pretty good stuff already. And obviously, if you're the Honkers, you don't really want to use a good arm in this situation. But Dingsdale has been good so far.
Here's the 0-2. And that's outside. Good eye from Lowe. 6 RBIs in his last 5 plate appearances to vault him to tie for 2nd place in the team ranks after a tough start to the year for Vaughn Lowe. He lays off that one. That's in the turf.
It's a great watch from Lowe. That's a few instances tonight where Lowe has just been very disciplined, especially with 2 strikes.
From Tacoma Community College, hit over 300 both years there. This one's kind of just slapped towards right field, and it's just foul. That ball was tailing. That would have been extra bases for sure if it somehow landed fair. But Lowe will have to take the long walk back to home plate. He was halfway to second.
Yeah, he was halfway to second, thinking about third. I think Lowe might have had a triple with that ball landing just inside the line, but it misses by inches probably. And like you said, he took his time on that walk as well.
Vaughn Lowe will probably about 99% chance not lay out a bunt. But let's shout out the 3 bunt singles that the Fish Sticks had, including 2 in a row in the 4th to kind of start that avalanche.
Yeah, I can't say I remember any time where I saw a team lay down 2 bunts in a row and they both went for singles. No errors involved either. They were just too good of
great bunts.
Yeah, and really impressive. And that's when you kind of felt the Fish Sticks were about to go, and then that inning ended with an 8 spot.
Here's the payoff to Lowe. Hits it virtually in the same spot as his foul ball. Tailing, and a nice catch is made out there and right by Alex Chamberlain.
Yeah, the Honkers dugout is loving the Chamberlain outs. There might be some more lore to that we don't know, but every time Alex Chamberlain is able to make a play out in right field, it is a serious crowd pop coming from the third base line.
So 2 gone here for Noah Benedict. Benedict walked last inning in the 7th, then stole second and eventually scored. Takes a look at strike one. He was the 16th run of the game for the Fish Sticks, who hold that 16-1 lead. 30 combined runs in the last 2 games, going back to that 14-4 wallop of the Yaks on Friday night. And that almost clipped Benedict in there inside. Now 1-1 count. Again, we've been talking in the booth. We really like what we see from Benedict in his limited time so far this season. A lot of speed, came in hitting .333, has also forced a couple walks. And that paints the corner.
Did it?
It may have tenderly brushed the corner.
Okay, you've got a better look at it than I do, but man, that zone has gotten big, and it makes sense. It tracks.
16-1 lead for the Fish Sticks. That's undeniably low for ball 2.
Yeah, but like you said, Noah Benedict brings a lot of tools to this team. He might not be the best at any of them on this squad, but he's such a versatile guy that you can get so much out of him on the field.
Dingsdale prepares to deliver 2-2. This one's crushed into the right center field gap, and that'll get down for a base hit. So Noah Benedict aboard again. Aboard in both of his plate appearances, and he'll be on first with 2 gone.
And now with Peyton Barsati up, I mean, we saw a couple big swings from Luke Parker. I can't even imagine what Peyton Barsati is about to dish out up 16-1 in the 8th. We've already seen a couple hacks from him today.
Again, blasted his first home run of the season back in the 4th. That made the 1-1 lead quickly into a 3-1 lead, and then after that, everything broke loose for the Fish Sticks bats. He actually takes a look at strike one there, but that ball was a no-doubter coming off the bat. Cleared halfway in between the 320 and 380 mark out there in deep left center field. It's the undeniable pop that we saw from day one, and it finally came to fruition. And this one's popped out and away. So quickly down 0-2 is Barsati. Again, 6'3", 245. Been catching behind the dish for all 6 pitchers for the Fish Sticks today.
Yeah, on a day where Evan Hellner comes in and plays first, it's definitely interesting to see Barsati get the load behind the plate. It's definitely kind of been a revolving door at the catcher position.
It's the 0-2. That fastball, or that curveball, rather, was up in the zone and popped straight up into the pink skies, and that'll be out number 3. So Barsati is retired. Still a 16-1 lead heading into the bottom of the 8th. Now at the bottom of the 8th here at Mount Si, still a 16-1 lead for the Fish Sticks, and another pitching change. It'll be Cole Nupfer who takes the mound, the talented lefty from St. John Bosco High School.
Yeah, Nupfer going to go play for the Gales at St. Mary's, join Peyton Barsati in Moraga, California. Won back-to-back state titles at St. John Bosco, one of the premier athletic high schools down in the L.A. area, 3.63 ERA. In 17 in the third, didn't have his best stuff against the Yaks on Friday. Gave up 2 earned in a third of an inning of work, but the talent is there.
And lefty fires in, high-velocity fastball in there for strike 1 to Alex Chamberlain. Single and an RBI back in the first, then had a double in the 5th. So it's been a nice, bright spot for the Honkers lineup, despite being down 16-1, and he swings and misses at strike 2.
Yeah, Nupfer, the fastball is not even the centerpiece, but he gets some pretty good speed on it, and we've already seen he's blown it by Chamberlain twice.
So here's the 0-2. Good-looking off-speed, just fouled off by Chamberlain.
And there's the centerpiece that I was referring to, that slider. It worked pretty well against the Yaks. It's just he didn't have a great command of it. Hit a couple batters with it.
Shakes off a couple pitches and unloads a fastball. Almost got Chamberlain to chase at the top of the zone, but that'll be ball 1.
The issue for Nupfer on Friday is he would get ahead in counts. It was just a matter of putting away hitters, and now we're looking at Chamberlain staying alive. And Chamberlain has been the best hitter in the Honkers lineup tonight.
Here's the 1-2 on the corner, called strike 3. Great location for Cole Nupfer, and that's the first out of the inning.
Yeah, that fastball just paints it up and out, and not a lot Chamberlain can do with that.
That'll bring up Dominic Hecker. He's also had a good afternoon. And he takes a big hack, a nice off-speed from Nupfer for strike 1.
Yeah, when that slider's going, it's got some pretty serious move, and it's just a matter of whether Nupfer can really put a harness on it.
And there's ball 1. Again, the sun has almost completely set about 9:20 p.m. Pacific, and the skies are bright pink and really beautiful behind Cole Nupfer as he fires in strike 2, 1-2 count.
And it's going both ways, but that zone is huge. I have not seen this big of a zone in a minute.
Nupfer shakes off a couple pitches, just sat down Chamberlain. And Hecker leaves that in the turf for ball 2. St. John Bosco, fourth ranked in the country and first in California. Just a really good squad, as this is ripped foul.
Yeah, Nupfer's slider, he kind of just hung it up, and Hecker got a little excited, pulled it into foul ground.
So 2-2 count, 1 gone here in the bottom of the 8th. It would take a miracle.
I don't even know what it would take, to
the
be
biggest
honest.
miracle anyone's ever seen for the Honkers to come back. And there's another foul ball. But the Fish Sticks up 16-1. 13 of those came in the 4th and the 5th innings, including breaking a 1-1 tie in the 4th with an 8 spot that pretty much put the game away. And Nupfer, that'll get past Barsati. And now full count.
This has been a good AB for Hecker. He's fought off a couple strikes with 2 strikes on him in the count, and this is kind of a prove-it moment for Nupfer. I mean, we've seen him kind of lose these hitters so far this season.
So here we go. Here's the payoff, and again in the turf, Nupfer a little frustrated with himself. Just sent the fastball right at the plate, and Hecker is aboard with 1 down.
Yeah, great AB from Hecker. I mean, we've also seen Hecker right behind Chamberlain put together some good at-bats. I think those two have probably been the best sticks in the Honkers lineup. It just hasn't translated to many runs tonight.
That'll bring up Cameron Padron, who's also had a nice night here at Mount Si. That gets past Barsotti, and Hecker will take 2. Padron, 2 walks and a single, has been on all 3 times he's been up, as Barsotti, this St. Mary's connection between Barsotti and Knupfer, they're going to talk for a little bit at the mound.
We saw this on Friday with Beckett Turnbow throwing to Evan Hellner, the 2 future New Mexico State Aggies, and now Knupfer to Barsotti. This has got to be on purpose. I mean, you've got future teammates on the team. You might as well start building their chemistry before they even step foot on campus together.
And St. Mary's, that Cinderella run into the NCAA tournament knocked off number 1 UCLA, who just had 9 losses on the season, not once but twice, before they got bounced by Cal Poly. But inspirational run nonetheless, and none that we celebrate at the Sweeney household as Zags fans. But impressive nonetheless.
Yeah, I'm sure you were so happy to see St. Mary succeed, as you always are in Spokane.
Yeah. As that's fired in there for strike 1. Nice comebacker. Gonzaga won the WCC by 5 games this season. Could not put it together in the WCCs, but a great baseball program under Coach Mark Maktoff, now the all-time winningest coach in Gonzaga history.
Any excuse to get the Zags on the broadcast is fine by Kyle.
And now 1-1 is not called for a strike in the bottom of the zone. We've seen pitches like that called for a strike as of late. Now a 3-1 count to Padron. And that's high for ball 4. Barsotti just telling Knupfer to calm down a little bit, but now 2 on with 1 out. That'll bring up Kazushi Miwa.
Such an interesting case for Cole Knupfer because he's faced quite a few batters now and still hasn't given up a hit, but 2 earned runs, and now with some traffic. I mean, he's not giving hitters anything to hit, but he's giving them free passes.
That again is outside. It might look like he's just trying to put too much on that fastball. Again, great velocity on it, but he's pumping it every pitch he gets. That one misses up and away. Obvious talent with Knupfer. Like on that off speed that catches the top of the zone.
I think he should go to that more. When he's able to locate it, it's one of the best pitches I think the Fish Sticks have in their bullpen, and I haven't seen a hitter for the Yaks or the Honkers really read it very well all season.
Count now 1-2 after that foul ball by Miwa. Had a nice sack bunt in the second inning, did Miwa. Also had a deep fly out to center field. And here's the 1-2, again driven to center field. Galen is under it for the second out of the inning. Speed showing off there from Galen for the out.
Yeah, I mean, he's got all kinds of wheels out in center, and he has had a great day with the glove out there. Obviously, that throw in the 6th inning, one of the better throws I think we'll see all season. But that was a good piece of hitting from Miwa. Knupfer kind of hit his spot there, and Miwa was able to lace it into center field. It was just right at Galen.
I'll bring up Luke Altum at the bottom of the lineup for the 3rd time tonight. He's made some nice plays over there at shortstop. Had a single back in the 6th. He took a look at ball 1. Up for fires in. Nice pitch. Got him swinging. Swing and a miss. Now 1-1 count.
Altum has been great out in the field today. A lot of balls his direction.
So 2 on, 1-1 count, and 2 gone here in the bottom of the 8th. It's a 16-1 lead for the Fish Sticks, who have held on to a substantial lead since the top of the 4th. Now looking to put the game away here with 7 outs remaining here at Mount Si. The sun has now completely gone down. The lights are on. And Cole Knupfer with a 3-1 count with 2 away. Trying to push the Fish Sticks to the top of the 9th. And there's another walk, so the bases are now full.
Yeah, I like what you said about his fastball. It just seems like he's trying to do too much with it, and now it's turned into 3 walks in this 8th inning with still no runs on the board.
So Kribbe will keep him out there. Again, the young kid, a Division I talent. Back to the top of the order with Josh Parks. And Parks takes a look at strike one. Been a tough day at the plate for Parks. He's 0 for 3 on the night. Also struck out in the fourth. Bases loaded, 0-1 count with 2 outs, and that's in there for strike two.
Another instance of Nutfer getting ahead. It's just, we've seen a couple strikeouts from him, but batters are doing a good job of battling off his pitches so far this season.
So Nupfer trying to get out of the eighth unscathed with the bases loaded. Fires in a fastball on the corner for strike three. A nice looking 3-pitch set there from Cole Nupfer. And to the ninth we go. The Fish Sticks still with a 16-1 lead. Well, we've reached the top of the ninth here at Mount Si High School. The Fish Sticks with a 15-run lead and 6 outs away now from their first PIL victory of the 2026 season. As Dingsdale is back out there on the mound and Alex Hamada takes a hack and fouls off the first pitch. Hamada singled his last time up. Likely would have been an RBI had Kribbe not held up the runner who was at second in such a large margin of victory. Hamada also in a couple nice plays at second base. Another big swing for strike two.
Ryder Dingsdale has had good stuff on the mound. He's thrown the last couple innings, and obviously these innings not pretty much all cosmetic for the Honkers, but he's had good stuff against this Fish Sticks lineup that has been raking in this game, and you just can't make this kind of stuff up. I think that's like 3 for me tonight.
As that did hit Hamada in the
Yeah,
in the lower half.
I saw it, Kyle.
Yeah. Curveball got away from Dingsdale there right as you're explaining that. That is the 4th time a Fish Sticks batter has been hit in this game. And that'll bring up Isaac Watson. Definitely some velocity with Dingsdale as Watson looks at ball 1. But a slew of pitchers used for both teams tonight. 11 combined pitchers. As Watson takes a look at that one on the corner.
Watson's still looking for that first hit. Just seems like it's going to break through. He's put good contact into a lot of balls this season. They just haven't gotten down.
So Hamada at first. And that one's off the corner. Now 2-1 count. But again, flashes of leather is in the arsenal for Isaac Watson. No errors last season at Centralia College. And he played a vast majority of the games as well. And at the hot corner, that's an impressive feat.
Yeah, there's really no understating that, especially with the volume that he faced.
Big swing and a miss. Swings through that. So now 2-2 count. And we saw it in practice first day, too. You could kind of pick out who the more skilled of the fielders were. He was definitely at the top of the list. Still looking for his first hit of the campaign. He fouls that back to stay in the count. Has drawn 3 walks, though, this season, so good on-base percentage so far. But as you mentioned, he's hit a couple balls hard that have just been unlucky placements. But a 2-2 count, awaiting Watson with Hamada at first. And the off-speed, good one from Dingsdale in there for strike 3.
That is a really nice pitch. We haven't seen that curveball from Dingsdale all 9th inning before right there. And he just loops it right in. Watson is frozen.
So 1 down now for Cade Galen, who's had himself a nice appearance here, pinch hitting for Rylan Gollard. Again, 2 great plays out in the outfield, including the better of the throws we've seen this season to gun down Miwa, who was thinking extra base there on a single. Galen himself singled back in the 6th. Takes a big hack. And in there for strike 2.
It's almost like Coach Kirby went into the dugout. It's just like, okay, we've got a big lead. Just swing like your life depends on it for the rest of this game. We have seen so many huge swings down the stretch from the Fish Sticks.
Here's the 0-2, another big hack. That one was way outside the zone. And the second strikeout of the inning for Dingsdale for out number 2.
Yeah, way up high, too. Galen definitely could have left it, but all kinds of breathing room for the Fish Sticks. And, you know, it's been such a good performance up and down the lineup for DubSea, and this is exactly what you want to see out of a team that really didn't hit the ball very well in its first 4 contests, excuse me.
I'll bring up Riley Sonoy, who also has had a nice appearance, pinch hitting for Gavin George. Again, George had a 3-run triple back in the 4th that really put the game out of reach. And then Sonoy came in for him. Has 2 singles and a walk in his 3 plate appearances. Now 1-1 count. Got a tall lefty, tall lanky lefty is Sonoy. Struggled last year at Pierce College, but undeniable talent coming out of Puyallup.
Not sure that was right.
Yeah, I'm still working on the pronunciation.
Yeah, Washingtonians, speak up on that. I'm pretty sure it's Puyallup.
Puyallup.
Not a contest, but
that's not
I'm 99% sure
that's
I'm
not
right
how it's spelled. Fun fact.
It's not. It sure isn't.
Here's Sonoy, who takes a look at strike 2. So 1-2 count, 2-2 count with 2 gone. Sonoy's first hit of the season came back in the 5th. And swings and misses at strike 3. So a nice inning from Dingsdale there in relief. 3 strikeouts of the Fish Sticks. But one last gasp in the bottom of the 9th for the Honkers, down 16-1. Well, do you believe in miracles, Angus?
No, it's 16-1 going into the bottom of the ninth. The DubSea Fish Sticks rolling the Northwest Honkers at Mount Si High School, and I'm all good for a good story.
Yeah,
and I like sports movies.
No,
but
me too. Yeah, sorry,
it's not happening tonight. The Fish Sticks are going to come away with their first PIL victory tonight.
That was not a great Al Michaels impression there. A little bit different of yeah. We'll just scratch that one. But a 16-1 lead, and Ryder Peterson is now the 7th pitcher for the Fish Sticks tonight. The small lefty throws ball 1. It's been a great night. We've talked about the hitters, but the pitching staff for the Fish Sticks as well. 1 run, which came in the first inning off Kenji Bray, and since then it's been 8 innings of shutout baseball. That's in there for strike 1.
Yeah, on a night where you use 7 pitchers, you wouldn't expect all of them to really perform like they have. But you've got 6 guys that have come out of the bullpen and thrown at least an inning, and they've all been scoreless. And I guess 5 guys. Peterson hasn't thrown a scoreless inning yet, but they've all been pretty good. There's been some traffic, but they've all worked out of it in their own right, and we're looking at just a pretty cosmic beatdown at Mount Si tonight.
This is Kendall Yackley who steps to the plate. It's 2-3-4 due up for the Honkers. As Peterson fires out and away. Again, after struggling to start the season, falling 1-3 with a 3-2 loss against the Blackfins, the Fish Sticks have responded quite nicely. As Yackley, he went. So that'll be strike 3 for Peterson. But again, after that 1-3 start, the Bats really struggled. They came away with a 14-4 victory over the Yaks at the Friar on Friday and have responded from that with a 16-1 lead here at Mount Si High School over a PIL opponent in the Honkers. Peterson, that is a nasty off-speed pitch that slides in there for strike 1.
Yeah, it's a lefty on righty matchup here, and still no chance at it.
This is actually Dingsdale, who just struck out the side in the top half of the inning, who now pinch hits for Logan Pontecorvo, who started as the DH and also pitched tonight.
Yeah, busy night for Pontecorvo. He was all over the stat sheet, but also not an ideal night for Pontecorvo. Just didn't really have it at the plate.
So 0-2 to Dingsdale, and that's up and away for ball 1. So to recap, a 1-1 game going into the top of the 4th before the Fish Sticks used a 2-run shot from Peyton Barsotti to take a 3-1 lead and not look back. End up as an 8 spot in the 4th and a 5 spot in the 5th. As Peterson strikes out Dingsdale, gives him a little taste of his medicine, and that's out number 2.
Just a nasty curveball that Ryder Peterson has. As the lefty, it's very hard to read out of the hand, and the Honkers really reaching into the bag of guys on the bench here.
This is Tanner Braun. The first of the no batting glove look we've seen today with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, and he takes a hack at strike 1.
Yeah, Northwest Honkers dugout. I mean, there's not a lot to take away from this game if you're the Honkers, but still pretty active, still having a good amount of fun tonight.
So 0-1 count, 2 gone here for Peterson. 2 strikeouts already. That's low for ball 1. Again, the Fish Sticks well on their way to their first PIL win of the season and bringing their record back to 500. An impressive performance on both sides of the ball. As Peterson fires in there, swung on and missed for strike 2, and now 1 strike away from getting out of Mount Si High School with a huge victory. So Braun stepping in, looking to smile at the end of the night, and he fouls it off. Peterson looking for his 3rd strikeout to strike out the side and end this ball game. Still a 1-2 count. As Peterson fires, this one's popped up to the infield. Peterson himself is going to call everyone off. And that's the end of the game. So a 16-1 commanding victory for the Fish Sticks, who have scored 30 runs in their last 2 games. And they come away with their first PIL victory of the season and down the Northwest Honkers at Mount Si High School.
Yeah, and there's no other way you want to win a baseball game than what the Fish Sticks just did at Mount Si High School. I mean, dominant at the plate, especially in the 4th and 5th innings, scoring 13 runs in a 2-inning span and just putting this game on ice before the Honkers could even realize what happened to them. And then on the mound, 7 pitchers that go 1 inning or more and 8 scoreless innings after giving up 1 in the first. I mean, both sides of the ball, like you said, Fish Sticks all over the place, and a huge win to kind of get that mojo back in PIL play.
And we've talked about both sides of the ball. I mean, a 16-1 victory. Both sides have to be churning. The pitching staff deserves a huge shout-out. All 7 pitchers that combined for a one-run performance, but the stick of the game is on the offensive side.
Yeah, Gavin George is going to be our stick of the game. The second time George has been stick of the game, went 2 for 2. First time around the bases, kind of just did it himself, advanced on an errant throw, then tagged up on a tight play at third and scored on a sac fly. And then the big hit today, the 3-run triple over the right fielder Chamberlain's head that really showed that the Fish Sticks were kind of in the driver's seat in this game. And ever since that hit, you kind of knew that the Fish Sticks were going to come away with a win. And Gavin George, he really has been all around probably the best player on the team this season so far.
So 13 runs in the 4th and the 5th combined from the Fish Sticks. They take the 16-1 victory here at Mount Si High School. For Angus Trigmo, I am Kyle Sweeney. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you later this week.